What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 136 of the Tasty Cast, our weekly podcast where we talk about things, react to things, do a bunch of random shit. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And Chris is not joining us today, but when he comes back, we will get his opinions on Concrete Genie, Control, Destruction All-Stars, The Path of Exile, because he was not here for those episodes as well. So look forward to that. And if it goes on too long, maybe we'll just do like a catching up with Chris episode and just kind of get that all out of the way, because he hasn't been on the show in like 3 episodes, so I'd like to get his opinions on some things. But yeah, quick reminder before we jump into this Tastecast to download and play Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and Maquette, all offered for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those, come back at the end of this month for Plus Club. Let us know what we thought of those games. We'll let you know what we thought of them. And Farpoint's also offered. We will not be covering that on Plus Club because it is a VR game, and I feel like a lot of people are not going to be playing it. But if you do play it, we could possibly have a conversation about it. I'm open to that. So let me know what you're thinking about that in the comments below. Game of the month is Among Us. Randomly picked. I was like, that's one of the ones that somebody picked, but randomly picked. Make sure to play that. I'm sure you've played it already. We're going to be playing it this month. If you don't know what it is, well, you've been living under a rock, but it is a game of deception where you run around and you try and find the imposter who is killing off members of your crew.
Bring out your inner psychopath.
Bring out your fucking sociopath, psychopath, all that shit, all your paths, bring them all out. And we're going to play that. Hopefully we can get a game going on one of these weekends where we can get people in the community to play together. That'd be really fun. And we're going to talk about that on Game of the Month at the end of the month. We have Discord, link down below. You can talk to us same time all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us in audio form, and we have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further than liking this video, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. And hashtag AskTLG on your comment if you want to be featured on Tastecast. Okay, so we got a lot to cover. It's the first Tastecast of the month, which means we got to cover game releases. But before we do that, let's talk about what we've been playing. I have a pretty short list, so I guess I'll just jump into mine first. Okay. Although I'm going to leave one to the end of my list because I think you played it as well. And we can kind of use that to transition to your what we've been playing. So I've been mostly playing Valheim still. Although, admittedly, and this might sound like blasphemy, I'm getting burnt out. The game's awesome. I'm loving it. I'm spending too much time building. I'm, looking for the third boss. So I guess there's, 5 bosses. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I read somewhere there's 9. I brought that up to a coworker, and he's like, 9. I'm like, somebody said that. And they're like, I think there's 5. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll kill 5 people. So yeah, I'm hunting the third one now, but I am 70 hours in, and I've just been building. It's really fun to build, really fun to explore in that game. I spent 3 days at sea in that game, just kind of exploring, not getting my feet on land, so that was kind of cool. Fucking kind of riding out storms, which is really stressful because when you ride a big wave and drop, your boat will take damage. I was like, I don't want to fucking capsize in the middle of the ocean because I will lose all my shit. I already told you about it, but I'm going to tell people listening or watching. I had a interesting event that happened where when I was at sea for 3 days in Valheim, an event was trying to start, but I wasn't there for it. And so I have a couple houses on different islands, and I came back to my second or third one. I have 2 houses that have warps that I'm able to teleport from one to the other, so I don't have to travel across the ocean to get to them. And I'm coming back to, we'll say the second warped house, or warp house, teleport house. And I come back, and a troll is just kind of walking out of the woods, and I'm like, trolls don't live around here. What the fuck's going on? And he comes in, and he just starts fucking swinging at my house. And typically when a troll hits my house or any houses, they do okay damage, but not crazy damage. And this one just walked up and went boom, and a huge chunk of my house just went flying. And instantly I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. So I run in with my bow and I start shooting him, and he hits me and one hits me and kills me, which has never happened in the game for me. When I was lower level and had worse armor, trolls would one hit me, but now they don't. So anyway, this one did, and I fucking respawn at my first house. So I'm really far away. I don't have my boat and shit. So I have to reconstruct a raft, a shitty little raft, and make my way back to that house to try and defend it. As I'm reconstructing a raft, all of a sudden it's the ground is shaking. And I like look around, and instantly I just kind of know what's happening without ever experiencing this before. I'm like, oh fuck, trolls are gonna attack. I run outside, and there's just like multiple trolls walking out my first house. And I was like, oh my god. So I'm sitting here naked because I died. I just respawned at this house. I grabbed some of my shittier equipment. I'm like, I have to defend my house. So 2 trolls show up. One starts walking at my house, swinging at it. The second one starts chasing after me. So I kind of kite him around. I'm shooting him with fucking arrows. And after a while, as I see on the distance, parts of my house just flying into the air and fucking exploding. So stressful. I kill the first troll. I go to start fighting the second troll. And as I'm fighting him, a third troll just shows up out of the ether. He just kind of starts walking at me. And I'm like, holy fuck. I kind of mentioned this before, but this has not happened to me prior. So I'm fighting. I kill the second troll. The third troll just kind of like walks back into the ether. He's kind of done here, and he's like, all right, he's suffered enough, and it's like the ground stops shaking. I was like, holy fuck. So I'm looking at my house. Luckily my first house, the core of it is where all my shit's at, and I'm in every game like this, build out. And so the part they destroyed was more of like a walkway porch area that they got to. So I kind of lucked out there. So anyway, I take all my stuff. I build my raft. I take the long journey back to my second place. Something I skipped. I tried to go through the teleporter to go back to my place, and it's like, oh, it's been disrupted. You can't teleport. And instantly I'm like, holy fuck, he's destroyed that much of my house. So anyway, I'm just kind of sailing there, thinking about how much destruction this motherfucker's done. And as soon as I get on the ocean, a fucking storm starts up and like starts throwing me around on this little raft. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna if this kills me on the way back, I'm gonna lose it. So anyway, I make it back, and as I'm running over there, I can see out in the distance, just a chunk of my house is gone. I can see into the house, like part of it's just collapsed. And even further in the distance, I see the troll that destroyed it, and he's stuck on a fence I had made. He was trying to walk out in the ocean around the fence, and he couldn't make it, so he's just standing there. So I start shooting him, I kill him or whatever. Of course, when I start fighting him, a bunch of fucking graylings come running out of the woods, like 7 of them. And I'm like, dude, why is this game so pissed at me? And so I kill the troll, I kill the graylings, and there's just a mound of my materials. The game gives you 100% of your stuff back whenever you destroy stuff. So all of my house is just kind of in a hole. And so I started recollecting it. I literally had to log out of the game and take like 30 minutes to like collect myself.
I don't blame you.
And because I was like, holy shit. I came back, rebuilt both my houses, and instantly I hit up a couple people. I'm like, the ground is shaking. You haven't experienced it yet, but you will. Trolls are coming. You need to fortify your house fucking now. And a couple people are like, I'm going to do it right now. I'm like, do it. Fucking protect your house. Don't make the mistake I made. And I instantly started thinking about like, how do I fortify my fucking house? How do I make sure this never happens again? So first thing I thought, what have people throughout history always done? I built a fucking moat around every single one of my houses. My first house was on this hillside. Anybody who watched the original stream, you'll probably have remembered what my house looked like. It doesn't look like that anymore. But also, the hill that it was on, where my house is at on the hill, I've cut the hill off. So I'm just on a cliffside now. And it's worked so far. Things have tried to attack, and they just like stand off the cliff looking up at me in the water. Like they're in the water looking up at me, and I'm like shooting down at them. I don't know how it does against trolls, but it's been working so far. Then my second house, I've essentially made the chunk of land it was on an island in the ocean. And then I just recently went to the swamps, made a house there. First thing I did was built a fucking trench around it so people couldn't get near it. So that ground is shaking thing has changed my whole perspective on that fucking game.
I haven't really had to deal with, obviously that, but you were kind of explaining it to me, when you first told me the story, and you were getting ready to tell me how that whole system worked. And I was like, no, I got attacked once. It just wasn't by trolls. It was this, I think they're the graylings, right?
Yeah, that one is the forest is moving.
Yeah, I was just like on the beach collecting stuff, and I saw that, and then out from the trees it started like coming at me. I was like, okay. I just started playing this game. Yeah,
you and Chris had hopped on my server, and you were making a house like to the west of me, and we all got that notice. And I'm like looking at my map because I'm used to, I play solo like 98% of the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm used to that affecting me. And so I'm like looking at the map waiting to see where it's going to be because it'll be like a red circle. And I'm like, no one's attacking me. And you're like, well, they're attacking me. And I'm like, are they? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, oh. And I just like run over there and I tried to help you out.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny that like, yeah, as soon as you guys joined and you're like just getting your place set up, fucking dude just show up like not here. So yeah, that's the Graylings. They'll attack when that happens. Ground is shaking was trolls, and then now I've seen like you can smell the swamp or something like that. And skeletons and joggers show up, which is kind of annoying because like half of them shoot arrows and half of them don't. But they're not. The only thing about the trolls I couldn't stand. It's not killing them. That's no big deal. It's just like how quickly they could destroy my shit. Which I know you can upgrade building materials later, but they were just like decimating my shit. And trolls that are not part of that wave type don't do that.
Right.
And for an example, there was a troll on my server. Cody came in famously, fucking he was a little loose. Made a weird house look like it was on a fault line. Half of it was up here, half of it was down here. And then he never came back. And that house had been sitting there for like weeks. And a troll just like had sniffed out his fucking Cody house and was just hitting it every time I logged in. I'd go over there, I'd be running by, and I'd look over, and he's just doing work on Cody's house for like weeks. And he had like breaking down a couple walls and shit. Whereas these trolls that spawn on this wave were just decimating my house in one hit. So that was really fucking crazy. But yeah, outside of that event that's just kind of reshaped the way I look at the game, it has nothing to do with me being burnt out in the game. I think just playing the game nonstop has done that. That's every game. Anyone who knows me, I hop games a lot. So for me to sit here and play this game for 70 hours, Josh has beat Yakuza Like a Dragon. He keeps asking, have you beat it? Have you beat it? I'm like, no. I was putting so much time into that game, and then I just put 70 hours into Valheim. I could have put that 70 hours into fucking
I just had someone
Yakuza.
recently, they're like, you pick up Bravely Default 2? And I was like,
is it out?
yeah.
Oh,
and they're like, it's really good. I was like, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, that sucks. I didn't know that because I really want to play that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think I need to take a break from Valheim, but I'm also like kind of obsessed with trying to progress through the bosses. I'm getting close to fighting the third one, and I want to do that. But I've just unlocked a bunch of new stuff now that I'm in the swamp and plains. I found the plains that I keep playing it. I think I need to play with people maybe because I spend a lot of time just listening to podcasts and building.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
And so, yeah, I feel like I'm starting to get burnt out.
Yeah, and it's not the same game, obviously, but when I play Minecraft by myself, I find myself just doing, like, real tedious stuff versus, like, when people are on, I'm more so, like, finding things that end up being, like, co-op adventures instead.
Yeah.
And it makes the game feel different, for sure.
Yeah, because the part of the game that I'm not really experiencing is the more explorative. Even though I am exploring, I'm just doing it safely. And bosses like that. I fought the second boss, I beat him, whatever. But I feel like it probably would have been better with people.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Second boss is a huge difference from the first one, though, which was pretty cool. I actually halfway through the fight was like, I can beat this guy, but I gotta like be careful with this because he could kill me. First guy, he was never a threat. But yeah, so my glasses. My glasses. So yeah, I looking forward to fighting the third guy. And yeah, I need to play with people, but I also am looking to other games to play. That being said, my game that I was playing a lot before Valheim, Deep Rock Galactic, I came right back to it. I was like, I need to take a break from Valheim. What to play? Oh, Deep Rock Galactic. So I went back, started playing that a little bit. I have promoted my driller twice now, so I'm taking a break from him. I've promoted my gunner once, so I'm taking a break from him, and I'm leveling my scout. And I'm very much enjoying playing the scout. It's very different than the driller, and I already know that. But just actually playing it, reminding myself of like, oh, this is like a completely different class. Because like the gunner and the driller are very different as well, but they're both kind of slow paced. They both can kill shit really well. Like a lot of people don't think about it, but the driller fucking murders. That's why I think the driller is like the most useful class in the game. Only the one second to it is, I would say, the engineer. But yeah, the Scout, not really a killing machine, but the mobility on that thing is fucking awesome.
You're Spider-Man.
Yeah, I have like a really quick recharge rate on my grappling hook, so I'm zipping around constantly. I have modifiers that I think allow extra move speed after I kill things and after I hit the ground from dropping.
Okay.
So I'm getting a little boost of speed running around. I have a mod on my gun that decreases overall damage but increases critical damage. Lowers my fire rate and lowers something else. And when I first read that, I was like, that sounds like shit. But then I went to my gun stats and I increased all the fire rate on it. So now my gun's back to shooting pretty quickly. It would probably shoot faster, obviously, if I didn't have that mod on. But it shoots like pretty fucking fast right now. But when I'm hitting someone in their critical spot, it kind of melts them. So it just makes me have to aim at specific things. Otherwise, the overall damage kills like grunts pretty easily, but it's almost... It doesn't matter when you're shooting big dudes. Like, I really am, like, ineffectual. So I'm kind of Spider-Manning around, shooting them in their crit spots. But because I've played Deep Rock Galactic plenty. I think I have, like, 140 hours in it, which, anyone who plays the game regularly probably has way more than that. But just to say, I'm not just casually playing the game. So I know that, how to play the roles pretty well. And so, when people go down, I'm the first one there. I get people back up quickly. If I hear a platform get shot, I'm looking for it. And if it's up high, I zip up there and get the shit and get down. Anyone playing the Scout, your job is to collect not as easily obtainable fucking resources fast. A lot of people don't do that. I don't get it. Like, there's stuff up in the ceiling and the Scout's just looking up at it. I'm like, get up there. Like, that's what you do. But I also like to play medic as well with a Scout because I can get... If someone falls down a fucking hole, there's like a whole operation to get down there, but I can just go and just get them and then go and get the fuck out of there. Then the gunner should be shooting a zip line down there to get him out. Anyway, yeah, really enjoying playing Scout. I'm not even remotely... I don't think I've ever been bored playing Deep Rock Galactic. I don't think I've ever been burnt out. So coming back to it, it's a blast. I don't know. I fucking love that game. We've talked about it before recently. So go back and check out that episode if you want to see my grade for that. But yeah, otherwise it's a great game. 3rd year anniversary is happening right now too. So there's a lot of confetti and banners hanging around, and there's a new tip jar machine next to the bar, and you give it money. It's like $5. And it's a little robot, goes ooh, and does like a bunch of different animations, and they talk to it while they tip it. And the whole time I'm just tipping it. I'm like, and I'm seeing all the different animations, which is cool. But I'm like, why? Why am I doing this? And why am I so compelled to do this? And is there an achievement? Because I was like, give me the fucking achievement. I'm not even an achievement hunter. In that game, I'm like, give it to me. And I think like 3 beers are free right now, which is kind of fun. Played the Division 2 a little bit. Josh has been like, weird. I don't know. Josh has been like, last year they had their highest amount of players ever.
Oh, good for them.
So the game's doing fine. I hopped on. There's people running all over the place, and they still have updates. They're coming out.
They sure as fuck don't talk about it.
They do. I just looked it up. They're like, update blah 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 is coming out and the roadmap ahead and shit.
I don't see.
We're just not in the community.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I think they're trying to support it like Destiny until they make fucking Division 3, which I hope they do. So I've barely played, but the reason I'm playing is because Josh is playing again, and he keeps trying to get me to play. He'll be like, hey, we should play something. I'm like, okay, cool. I got like 5 games I really want to play. He's like, oh, those all sound really good. We could also play Division 2. I'm like, interesting. I'll download it, maybe. Like, I'm down for Division 2, maybe. And then I just didn't hear from him. He's just gone. I'm like, guess we're not playing that. Then the next day, drop all the fucking games that I had listed before what we played. He's like, hey, I'm playing Division 2. You should play it. I'm like, okay, I'll get it downloading. So I downloaded it. I hop on. He's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. And so I guess I'll play Division 2 by myself. Download on my PS5, though. He's telling me it has PS5 upgrades. It does. It looks way better. It plays. Here's the most important thing. It plays way better. It's smooth. There's no Ubisoft games, I think, are maybe too ambitious for what they're trying to do, and a lot of times they have like a slight latency to them.
Yeah.
Especially in the aiming. Luckily, in games like Division, you're sitting behind cover and you're taking your time to shoot. It's not
A
like
little slower pace.
Yeah, so it never has really bothered me. But even in Siege on console, it felt like kind of laggy, and I kind of hate that feeling. So on PS5, it plays fucking buttery smooth, and then that just told me how much like I was noticing that there's an issue on the console before, because like it plays great on PS5. I'm not like, oh, there's a little bit of latency. It's not there.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I'm looking forward to playing it some more. I fucking downloaded the expansion or whatever, and I played like I think I leveled once and I never played it again. So I'm like brand new to the expansion and the New York, whatever the hell it's called, Gangs of New York, fucking
I don't remember. I didn't.
Hatchet Harry game.
I hit the original end game and I kind of stopped.
Yeah. Me too. And then I dabbled a little bit in the expansion, and I would like to dabble more. So yeah, pretty cool. Play a little bit of Remnant from the Ashes, which is one of the games we'll be talking about on Plus Club. I have a past with Remnant of the Ashes. I bought it when it came out. Been playing it for a while. So you probably can tell I may like it. Find out how much I like it at the end of the month.
It's all right.
It's a game. I'll play it. But yeah, played it on console, I downloaded it on my PS5, I have it on my PS4, I have it on PC, so I will be able to talk in depth about this game. And then lastly, I played the Outriders demo, and I feel like I was supposed to play it, but I really didn't, because the time I had to play it, I was watching a lot of cutscenes.
It's pretty front heavy cutscene wise.
Yeah, I had to like quit because I was like, it was a work night. I, had done my stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of get ready for bed. I'm like, I'll play Outriders a little bit, and then I'm sitting here watching cutscene, walk around, cutscene, dialogue, cutscene, walk around, and people are like, oh, you got to pick your class or something like that before you really get into it. I'm like, I haven't done that yet.
It takes a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So, and so I know you played as well.
Yes.
So we'll just kind of use this to transition into what you've been playing, but so far, a couple things. The game looks okay. The art style is fine. I'm intrigued by the story, which I didn't expect. It's simplistic, but I thought it was actually kind of a cool premise.
I had this conversation a little bit last night with a couple guys to play 14 with, and I had said that I thought the weak point was the story. That was me misspeaking. So if you guys are watching this, I didn't quite mean that. I mean the
It's in backpedal.
the writing.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of.
Okay.
The story itself is interesting.
Yeah.
So
So if you haven't had a chance to play Outriders, it's essentially that like the game literally starts out and it's like Earth was destroyed and 2 colony ships.
or at the very least, there's no fucking resources left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they're very blunt about it. They're like,
Yeah.
Earth is gone.
Yeah.
And 2 colony ships left Earth. God fucking damn it, my glasses. Anyway, 2 colony ships left, and I guess one of them didn't make it.
Yeah.
So only 1 colony ship made it. So already in that, and it's very simplistic and vague. I'm like, that's kind of a cool premise. I like the idea that like you had what hasn't done something similar to that, but just how simplistic it is. It just kind of leaves a lot in the air. Like, like, hey, you're on this planet. It's fucking you had to. And I was like, are they just going to leave it like that? And then, like, as soon as the game starts up with them, like, getting onto this planet, people are kind of in past tense talking about, things that happened there. We did what we had to do. We went through this some kind of battle or whatever, getting off Earth. And I was like, this is kind of cool. I kind of dig this. And then, like, the whole time, also, I'm like, did they go through cryo sleep or what's going on? Because they said it's like 86 years ago that this happened. And then people start talking about it. At first, I thought they were leaving things out of the story. I was like, that's kind of lazy. But then they're like, oh, yeah, I just woke up. Just like they're mentioning.
They take their time with it.
So when you're saying, like, you don't like the writing, I kind of do like the writing because the story's just like, boom, this is what's going on. And then it kind of bleeds in the details. I was like, that's actually pretty good. Not like great writing, but it's like it's effective. It works.
Maybe
I think you're talking about dialogue, probably.
I am 100%. Yeah, I'm having a hard time like trying to explain the part I don't like. It's when the people talk, I'm just like, ugh, I don't like you that much. Like,
sure.
So.
And like when I talk about movies and stuff like that, and I talk about writing, people will be like, oh, I like this story. I'm like, okay, I get it, but I'm talking about there's specifics to all the layers of storytelling, but
sure.
like in writing, there's like dialogue. There's the writing itself that you can really like have a problem with, which I don't really have a problem in this, but like character writing, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I kind of equated it to like Gears of War, where like everyone's kind of like.
I don't think it's that bad.
Well, but that's the like it leans into that where they're like, I'm a tough dude. I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the worst thing in that regard is I forgot what his title is, but he seems like he's the leader of you.
the cowboy.
He looks like a fucking cowboy. And every time I look at him, I'm like, why is he?
Yeah.
Why is he? And I still haven't got answers to that. But then I'm also thinking like, I think they're just leaning in to that this is like sci-fi. And they're going to have fun with it. And I'm like, okay, tonally, that's what they're telling me.
For sure.
That's what this kind of sci-fi is. So it's whatever. I'm not thinking about it anymore. But yeah, that's kind of dorky. The dialogue is not Gears of War, in my opinion. But it is very like, hoorah, military stuff. But that's who you're playing as. And that's who you're around.
Yeah.
And some of it I actually thought was better than I was expecting. I'm not like impressed with it, but like it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was actually like talking with people to try and get more information about the event that happened, which a lot of games I don't give a fuck about extra information because I'm like, your story's not that great. I'm not worried about it. But this is like, I kind of want to know more about what happened there. They left it vague intentionally, I feel like, and it made me want to know more. I shot a little bit at the training thing. Like I said, I've barely played this demo. I don't have the time for it.
I'll be careful with what I say then.
I don't care. You can spoil whatever. This isn't a game I'm fucking hyped for. But in fact, I feel like this game's not going to be that great. That's why I'm playing the demo. But
you should play a little more, I feel.
I'm definitely gonna. Yeah. I like that it's multiplayer too, so I want to try that out. But
I haven't done that yet, so yeah, I'd be down.
But I'm being blunt about my opinion on this because if it does change, you'll see it, and if it doesn't change, you'll see it in the coming weeks when we talk about shit. So, but I've been on the record on this channel ever since this game was ever fucking announced that I think it looks generic as shit, and it's knowing Square Enix and when they publish games that they don't make, they're typically garbage. I'm sorry if anyone likes those games. Typically, they're not great. Yeah. So my expectations down here.
For sure.
So already me saying that this story is interesting and I can look past cowboy is already a hopeful fucking point of view in my opinion. I just need to play more. Now, all that said, the shooting didn't feel great. That's fine though. I can overlook that if there's stuff to be gained. Powers, abilities, pretty much same thing I just said. Like armor, weapons, I don't care, something, upgrades in some kind of way. I can look past weak feeling shooting mechanics. One thing worth noting though is I forgot who makes this game, but I think it's the same people who made that fucking shooter where you like have the lasso thing, you throw people in the air and shoot them and shit. Bulletstorm.
Is it?
Pretty sure it's the same people. So I'm kind of expecting, when you're talking about the dialogue being kind of cheesy, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But a lot of the ideas they had in that game, I could see that translating over into this game, possibly making that interesting. So I'm not sure about that. I haven't played it, but it did feel kind of loose, and I felt like bullets didn't feel that impactful. I was impressed that the characters you shoot move when you hit them, like they're sort of like acting weird.
Yeah.
But
they'll also take cover and stuff.
But the guns feel just like do like they don't. There's no fucking. So anyway.
Yeah. So I actually have pretty similar experience with the beginning of the game, especially. I was actually getting pretty turned off by it because because I haven't been following it too closely, like I didn't really have a hype level for it. So when they're just sitting there talking at first, I was like, dude, come on, I just want to try the game because of the demo. And then I realized it's like, okay, this is gonna be like a full like story driven game. Okay, so I just kind of like accepted that, and then my time was getting better after that. Going through the tutorial and all that stuff, I just like the whole time I was like, okay, this is kind of whatever. Then an event happens that leads into like picking your class. You essentially, if you don't want spoilers, go ahead maybe like 5-10 minutes to this.
You talk spoilers for 5-10 minutes?
no, I'm just saying in general. Like, I don't know how long it's gonna take me. So like 5 minutes. Go ahead for like 5 minutes. So, anyways, what ends up happening is you end up finding like an anomaly that happens, and it starts messing with like it'll either just like kill people or it'll like change them on like a molecular
Change
level.
you to the magical Mass Effect being you're going to be in the game.
Yeah, kind of. Then on your way back, you've been butting heads with like the guy who's in charge of your expedition or whatever, and he wants the people on the ship to come down to the planet right now because he's like, we can't delay this, and you're like, we don't know what the hell's out here, blah blah, blah this thing. He ended up getting into a confrontation with them because they basically are just like, you're sick, you can't come in here, we're gonna shoot and kill you, and so you fight your way back up, and then you get injured, and the people you're with like, we can't fix you right now, putting you in cryosleep. And then all of a sudden, a shit ton of time passes. You wake up, and they did land. The world went to shit, and you wake up. You don't know what the fuck's going on, and it's like very Borderlandsy at that point. We're like,
So do you like that story or something?
it's okay.
Okay. I'll say I'll play it, so I'll find that out.
Yeah.
as
Well,
I play.
I was just getting. So the game like completely changes tone at that point, and I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting to go this direction because I was kind of wondering when I was playing it in the early footage. It showed like a way different like vibe than the beginning of the game gives off, and that's the reason is that right there, that event that happens. So, anyways, you go through a whole sequence of stuff, and then you get to pick your class finally. And there's the 3 classes, and you start playing, and all of a sudden you have skill trees. You find out the game's loot, essentially loot based, and all the weapons have stats and stuff like that. And healing is done by using your abilities. And so your play style, very like Doom-esque. If you want to heal, you have to get in the shit. Like, and that's just the way it works. So it's kind of an interesting idea in that. So I did actually find myself enjoying the combat aspect of the game once I had abilities.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just and the abilities might be cool, but the shooting itself, I don't think it's going to improve in the sense of the feedback that I'm looking for. One thing I just want to throw out there too is Outriders is made by People Can Fly. They made Bulletstorm. They made Painkiller, which makes sense to me that they made Bulletstorm and Painkiller. They made a Gears of War, and they also worked on Fortnite. I think in the early days.
Gotcha.
Because they did have a connection with Epic for a while.
So yeah, it's very much not a tight shooter. I will agree with that. It is definitely like an RPG in that regard. But I made a pyromancer, and in order to heal, I have to kill people who are afflicted by my flames. So I have to be constantly making sure people are on fire and then kill them, and then I get health back. So
I wonder if that comes into play in co-op, like certain things that feed off of each other in the sense of achieving that easier.
maybe, because I know I think the Earth one, or the tank guy essentially, I think he has to actually get kills with his ability, versus like the flame one is just people who die with it on. And then the long range person, I don't know what theirs is specifically either. They all have like a slight difference to the way they heal, but it's all based on your ability, using your abilities on people. So
Gotcha.
I don't know, it's interesting. I am curious to see how much depth goes into the skill tree and the loot system, because that would sell the game, I think, at that point.
If it has loot and abilities to like level up and work towards and co-op, and I've barely played the game, as you guys have just heard me talk about, I would buy it.
It definitely has those. I just don't know the extent of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like longevity. I don't want like a skill tree that has like 5 things to unlock.
Yeah, for sure.
And then 4 upgrades to my gun or something like that. If it has more, it doesn't have to be like The Division. I don't want every game to be fucking looter shooters, but if it feels like a semi deep RPG that's co-op, story's interesting enough. I would play it.
Well, it definitely has like a Borderlands-esque loot system.
Does it?
Yeah, because they listening to community feedback, one of the bosses that you can farm over and over again type of thing, originally had the chance to drop a legendary gun, and then they took it away, and the community was like, "Why are we fighting this guy if we can't get loot off him?" And they're like, "Okay, we hear that," and they gave the gun back to it.
Yeah, why would you take that away? That's the fucking point. Make it hard to
Well,
get, maybe.
I think
but...
that the reason they were thinking is because your save file is your save file. So
Yeah.
when you buy the game, you get to keep playing, essentially.
Sure.
So,
What a cool reward for playing the demo.
Sure,
to
sure.
grind and get that fucking
and they
legendary.
listen, though,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, it's good. It's good.
So,
It's just, I'm guessing. I'm trying to guess why they even did it in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm glad they reversed it because, like, God, I've played a couple games recently that are like games where you typically in the past would grind out on like a boss to try and get a legendary, and they didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like that's. I know they like everyone's obsessed with balancing games nowadays and making sure they're sterile as fuck. But that was the exciting thing about older games is like Borderlands 2 I played the fuck out of because I was trying to get all the legendaries, like all the best, awesome, highest versions of those legendaries, and I missed that grind.
Well, especially if you get to that point, like let the game feel broken after.
Yeah, who gives a fuck if you put that much time into it and you can't make other people's experiences worse? Gives a fuck.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Just let somebody spend hundreds of hours just fucking trying to unlock really cool shit and going like, you know, oh, I got this gun. How'd you get that? I fucking had to do this for like hours trying to get it. Like that feeling of accomplishment. You know, a lot of the looter shooters nowadays, and I'm not saying this game's a looter shooter, but just to my point, there's no set. It's all like, well, I got this legendary. 5 minutes later, well, I got a gun that replaces it, and you just keep moving on. There's no sense of like, fuck, I earned this. Small tangent.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean it makes complete sense. So, so far the positives I've seen though is like it looks like it has a good like idea of like what kind of game it's going to be, which I need to beat the demo so I can have like a solid opinion if I want to buy it or not. But also that they're actively listening to the community is always a good sign too. It means they're trying to make a good game. So like, I don't know. I need to sit down. I need to beat the demo. I also want to try it co-op, see how it feels.
We should definitely try it co-op.
Yeah.
That I keep forgetting as I was playing the short amount I played that I'm playing a co-op game. Because as a single player game, I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But if there's other people, I'm like, that really bumps games up for me a lot. I like co-op games a lot.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a fun game, but I have to concrete that decision, I guess.
Well, and the people who made Bulletstorm and Painkiller, two games that I have the same issues with. I don't care about the storylines, but they got good shooting. Bulletstorm has some really inventive ideas. I didn't care about the score system. That doesn't do much for me. But they were really thinking about every arena. That's what the game was. Just arenas to arena to arena to arena. Every arena was like imaginative. They gave you different toys to play with in that setting. And so there's some imagination there. And Painkiller had like really cool like ragdoll physics for back in the day. They had like nail guns and shit. And, you know, it took me back to a time of, you know, where shooters were just like trying to be crazy.
I enjoyed that game way more than Bulletstorm.
Yeah. And so those people making this game, these are ideas people.
Yeah.
You know, they're not strong in the storytelling. Maybe this game will be their first time, in my opinion, where it's actually kind of interesting, and so far it is. But they're not short of ideas when it comes to shooters. So them bringing that to a co-op game is promising. I think it sounds cool.
Yeah.
So,
I'm definitely curious especially after like getting to be able to select a class and like realizing that there's a hub and you get quests and side quests and there's loot and chests and shit like that in the game. So
yeah, it sounds cool. Is it 3 or 4 player?
I think it's 3.
Yeah, every game's 3 nowadays, which I actually think is kind of a cool.
I wonder if it's just easier to balance 3.
I think it's way easier to balance 3.
So
I think it's fucking way easier, and it's just annoying because like I have like 3 other people I typically play games with regularly. So like every time it's a 3-player game, there's always somebody I'm like, oh dude, I guess we gotta play something else, or we'll get you on the next game. I'm not sure. Luckily, that's normally Cody. He'll pop in and be like, hey, I see you guys are playing the game. I'm like, it's 3 players. Like, oh, that's cool. I'll play. I'm like, nah, we'll play something. Like, I hate that 3-player shit. So, but at the same time, games like that typically feel a lot more team oriented. It feels like they can, maybe because 3 you can get a little more precise in the way teams work together, as 4 always feels like a lot of people are just around shooting independently, and it feels like you're just all playing your own game separately together. but like every time I play a 3-player co-op game, it feels like it's more co-op oriented. There's more things involved. Deep Rock Galactic not being part of that. That's a great cooperative 4-player game. But yeah, it seems like every time I play a 3-player cooperative game, it seems more co-op focused and less like, well, let's play together.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, they figure something out that makes that number so like important for people to be doing so often now. So,
well, if you think about it, 2-player co-op is like, I think some of the most immersive co-op experiences I've had have been 2-player co-op.
Yeah,
because you can tell a more cinematic story with 2 people.
Yeah,
even like a game like A Way Out and stuff like that is a very cinematic experience, and you can do a lot of really interesting stuff. 3 is that in between point between that cinematic experience you can do that I feel like you could do with 4 people. I think it'd just be very hard, it'd be very challenging.
Yeah, you'd really have to want to.
And 4-player, where you're playing a game like Borderlands and everybody's just running around shooting and fucking. You're playing together, but you're not working together as well.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, and so 3 just feels like the middle. I mean, not even feels like it is literally the middle ground between 2 and 4.
Yeah.
And this is just based off examples of games I've played, where it does seem like you get a more fine-tuned co-op experience with 2 people and a more chaotic experience with 4 people. And that's almost every game I play nowadays when it comes to 4-player co-op is just chaos. Which is fun. I like having friends with me when we're playing. But even when I play Call of Duty, fucking most of the time, I don't feel like I'm playing with a team. I feel like I'm killing people, and people on my team are killing people, and my team might win and might not.
Yeah, I could definitely see that in Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a lot of fucking games in general. So I wish people put more time into the co-op experience, the team experience, incentives to work together. I know I'm kind of going off on a thing that has nothing to do with Outriders, but like just that 3-player thing, I feel like it allows itself to find that middle ground. So yeah.
We should definitely figure that out though. Demo is permanent, I believe, so we have all the time in the world.
Wow. Yeah, I was wondering if it's timed or not.
But that's definitely something. It went from a game I had a slight like, oh, okay, I've seen a little bit and heard a little bit about the game too. Like, okay, now I'm kind of paying attention to it. Game. So
my hype for that game was the same as The Quiet Man. I saw it. I'm like, that game's gonna be garbage.
Well, that's putting you in a good position.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like fucking like, and I feel like when I play Quiet Man, because I am gonna play that at some point. It's gonna be garbage. The reviews I watched said it was garbage. Yeah. I knew it was gonna be garbage. This game, I was like, that game looks generic as fuck.
I know a couple people said they were going to buy it already.
Sure. And so I downloaded the demo. There's demos for other games. I'm like, I'll buy it when it comes out, or I won't buy it. But this game, I'm like, I feel like that game's going to be shit. But I want to find out. There's a demo. Smart. Because now I can not invest money in it, and I can get a real opinion.
Yeah.
And now playing it, I'm like, I might buy this. So
yeah, that's what I'm kind of leaning to. I don't know if I'm sold yet, but I definitely am leaning towards yes at this point.
Yeah, I set the bar so fucking low that any improvement, I'm like, okay.
It doesn't take much to get you to buy a game anyways.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. So if the game is not exactly what I thought it was going to be, I'm going to buy The Quiet Man at some point. That game's garbage.
Yeah.
Just so I can make fun of it. I'm going to stream the fuck out of the game if I do get it. So
for sure.
That game's been out forever now. Hopefully. I'm just waiting to see it on sale for like $2. I'll buy it then.
Yeah.
They should pay me to play it.
I don't know about that.
Anything else on Outriders?
No, because I need to play more of it. But
yeah. What else have you been playing?
I mean, other than that, I played some Minecraft. I've been enchanting my gear because I'm trying to get to the point where maybe we can go fight the Ender Dragon and then have access to more of the game at that point. I don't have any big projects in my mind right now, so I'm just kind of focused on like improving my gear. And then outside of that, I mean, we mostly me at this point. I haven't seen Rob in a while. Where are you at, Rob?
Rob, is he missing?
He has been. And then
it's been Rob napped.
And Chris has just been very invested in what he's doing in 14 right now. So, been building pathways through the Nether so I can get around easier. Because it's faster than traveling the overworld. Because it's like a third of the size or whatever. Yeah. So not a lot to talk about there. That was pretty much it. And then
your house didn't get destroyed by trolls?
No, I did while working on one of my wool machines, raiders showed up 3 times, like, rapidly, back to back. I was like, dude, fuck off. I'm trying to build something. I'm just sitting there. All of a sudden, like, I get shot by a crossbow in my back, and I turn around, and he's just like, meh. I'm like, go away, please.
It's like Greylings, Grey Dwarfs, and Grey Brutes and shit in Valheim.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'll just be like working on my house, minding my business. I've like slaughtered like 500 Greylings already ever since I landed fucking on this island. And fucking, I'll like look over as I'm building, and just out in the distance, I just see them just like,
Yeah.
they're like walking through the woods like they're like not coming to my house. They're just like, we're just on a walk. And they'll see him, and they go, oh, wait, there he is. And they start like kind of shimmying.
Similar.
They start shimmying towards me. I'm like, you motherfuckers, you're acting like you're just walking by. You're definitely coming here to my house.
If you get
trying to fucking kill me.
you get-
And then I kill them, and they just keep every once in a while coming by, and they're like, hey, you the guy that fucking killed like 700 of us? Yes. Okay. And then I have to fight him. I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah, if you get close enough to like the raiders, they'll like stop in the distance and they'll like just look at you, and I'm like, yeah, you're on my property. What do you like? I'm not gonna like wonder why the fuck you're here, where you're going. And if you get too close, all of a sudden they start loading their crossbows, and they'll just like, I'm like, dude, fuck off.
Yeah, that's very similar. I know that all too well in Valheim. I'll see them way out there, and it looks like they're walking like from east to west, not even like towards me or anything. But I know that they're gonna start kind of making their way a little closer every single time, and eventually, like, I'll see their whole like demeanor change. And I'm like, here we go, here we go. I gotta take a break from building.
And then there's one that has a flag on his back, and when you kill him, he drops the flag, so you have a trophy you can put up. I ran out of room to put them.
Yeah, fucking flag Japanese. For some reason, I was thinking of those Polish fucking medieval soldiers with the wings and shit, but
Oh no, yeah, it's like
not thinking of Yoshimitsu.
the square, like, yeah, more like that.
Yeah.
Except it's just got a giant picture of their face on it, so it's just their face on a flag.
I want a flag with my face on it.
So I ran out of room to put them, and so my base in the Nether, they're just lining the wall in there. Because I was just like, I gotta put these somewhere. Otherwise, I'm just gonna throw them in lava, and I feel like it's a waste of these
You need to
trophies.
put them out in your front yard so people see that shit. And
I
go,
did for a while, but
ooh, we all wear those. Why do you have all those?
why
Fucking
are so many of them?
come fucking find out.
Chris has them. Where the train connecting me and his base is, leaving his base, there's just a line of them. It's like, God damn. So yeah, they just show up when you're in a place for too long. So
Yeah, sounds so familiar.
yeah. Other than that, I've not been playing a lot of 14. I've been logging in just to raid. We got a new healer that he's never raided before, so he's like learning completely new with us. He's picking up very quickly though, but he has some pretty heavy like self-doubt, confidence, lack of confidence, and then like social anxiety stuff. So like trying to be like, dude, it's cool. Like, we didn't pass this the first time we did this. Like, we died and died and died and died. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you learn and you get better at it. So, and he's doing good. So we keep trying to reinforce that he's doing a good job. We just got to get him caught up to where we were so we can go back to progressing through the fights though. So that's been our struggle lately, is we keep having like this one member that we have to keep like bringing in a new person in training, right? A new person in training, because we don't do it the same way. Like, if you do it with randoms a lot, there's like a meta strategy that ends up like forming over time that everyone just knows, and we don't do it that way. So like when we get randoms, they're like, "Oh, you're doing that weird." Like, yeah, we do a little weird, type of thing. So we always have to like readjust with people. Mostly because a lot of like some of the mechanics involve like the healer needing to stand certain places. I get lost too easily, so I can't fulfill that role. So I have Chris actually do that part where you follow him because he knows where to go. So, and then all of a sudden they'll follow me and they're like, and I'm like, nope, wrong person. Like, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't follow you fucking anywhere.
No. I warn people all the time. And then they think I'm joking. I'm like, no, you can put me in a box and I will forget how I got in there. So, Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's been fun. I enjoy raiding. I just don't like have a lot of like goals I'm trying to accomplish in the game right now. So that's pretty much the only reason I'm logging in. I'm just kind of waiting for the next big update to come out for that. So, and then last thing I played was I forgot the name of it, the PS5 only game for the Plus games. Yeah, I played some Maquette. So for about an hour and a half.
I downloaded it.
So I'm not gonna say anything, obviously, because we gotta talk about it. And if I say anything, it's gonna give my opinion. So it's definitely
It's a game.
walk and figure out the puzzle game.
Yeah, I probably won't beat it.
You definitely won't.
Yeah.
So
I'll play it though. I'll talk about it at the end of this month.
Yes.
Plus Club. Make sure to play that if you got a PS5 or if you've played it by any other means. I don't know if it's on PC, but you're obviously welcome to the conversation. But yeah.
yeah, that's it. I'm honestly the only thing I really had anything to talk about on was Outriders because it's new. So
yeah. Oh, it's worth talking about too because we've been kind of building up to talking about it for a while because it keeps getting shown off. Is it good? Is it not good? I don't know. Let's talk about it. So yeah. Well, let us know in the comments what games have you guys been playing? What games do you think we should be playing? You're playing something. What's the next Valheim? What's the next game that you guys are gonna be hitting me up and telling me, hey, if you played this yet, I'll be downloading right there and be like, not yet, but it's coming. I'm playing a sec. I've been playing Valheim. What do you think about Outriders? So you played that. What was your hype level on it? Has it met that? Exceeded it? Is it worse than you thought it was gonna be? Should I continue to play it? I'm gonna, but should I? Be like, no, Seth, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You've only done the beginning, you haven't done shit. Play it more. I'm gonna, promise. But let me know your thoughts on Outriders and everything you've been playing in the comments below. First, Tasty Cast of the month. We always talk about game releases, so we're gonna go through this list via GameSpot of game releases. It's pretty short, and talk about our hype of games coming out, and reverse hype of games that we have no interest in. So, short list. Let's just jump into it. This is the whole thing right here. It seems to be. What is this? Further reading. I don't want no fucking further reading. Okay, so we are in March, in case you don't know. Maybe you just woke up from a coma, and welcome back. So on March 2nd, we got Harvest Moon One World on PS4 and Switch. Yakuza Like a Dragon came out on PS5. I don't know if that's an upgrade or if it's just an actual release for the PS5. Came out March 2nd. March 4th, we got Sea of Solitude Director's Cut on Switch. And then on March 9th, we're getting Apex Legends on Switch, which, good. I'm glad it's coming out on there, but I saw some gameplay and I was like, whew, that's on Switch.
that's rough.
Yeah. March 16th, huge jump there. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckonings coming out on Switch. And Samurai Showdown on Xbox Series X and S. March 23rd, we got Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. Don't know what that is. Maybe I'll click on that to look at it.
It's a slow living game.
Okay. Sounds like it. March 25th, we got Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, coming out on Xbox One and PC. I'll definitely be... I'm not supposed to be talking about that yet. March 26th, we got Balan Wonderland, which is...
There's a demo for that you can download, too.
There's a demo for that. Have you played it?
I haven't downloaded and played it yet.
Coming out on Switch, PS5. Let's say PS5 twice. It's coming out twice on there. Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So it's coming out on everything. It Takes Two, coming out on Switch, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. Do they mean PS4?
They have to.
Yeah. And PC. So Balan Wonderland and It Takes Two, I assume, is coming out on PS4 as well. And then, of course, Monster Hunter Rise is coming out on the 26th as well on the Switch. Yeah, I forgot it's coming out this month. I was like, well, there's a big game. March 30th, we have Evil Genius 2 World Domination coming out on PC. And to be announced in March, Disco Elysium, the final cut, will be coming out on PS5, PS4, they actually put it in this time, PC, and Stadia?
Question mark.
Yeah. So those are the games coming out in March. There's a lot other games coming out, indie games, stuff like that, but I was like, we're not reading all that. I saw a list, it was huge. I was like, nope. So I'll jump in first. First off, I just want to look at whatever the Story of Seasons is real fast.
I've been watching people play it. It looks all right.
It's
out in Japan, so.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm kind of interested in games like that. Harvest Moon, is Harvest Moon even fucking relevant anymore? No one talks.
They keep making them. So.
Yeah, but nobody talks about them. So obviously they're not making great ones.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I just don't think they've really changed much, so there's nothing to talk about.
I feel like, goddamn, oh no. Stardew Valley, thank you. With the fucking popularity for years now, Stardew Valley, why haven't the people who own the IP of Harvest Moon just went fucking insane with it? There's obviously people who want to play games like that. There's a whole genre of them now.
Animal Crossing was huge.
Sure. So like, why? Like Harvest Moon used to be the game.
Well, the guy left to make that Dragon Cafe game, which I still haven't tried. But
did he make that?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted to play that. Interesting.
I don't know why I know so much about these fucking slow living games.
I don't know. You're part of the community. So yeah, not really interested in that. Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm not interested in that for PS5. I'm just gonna let you guys know. Buy it. Whatever you can play it on, buy it. Yakuza Like a Dragon's fucking awesome. Josh just beat it recently. He loved it. So fucking buy it. Play it. It's great. It's on PS5 now. Let's see. Curious about Sea of Solitude. This is a game I wanted to play. As Director's Cut is probably going to be the definitive way to play it. I'm not going to play on Switch, though. Kind of curious about Story of Seasons. I'll have to look into it. But I kind of like the idea of games like that. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, I'll be picking up for sure. I want to get all of the Yakuza games on PC at some point or another. I have no hype for Balan Wonderland. It looks like weird as fuck. Mm-hmm. So,
that's the Sonic creator, I believe.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So I'll look into it. We'll see. I'll play the demo, maybe check it out, talk about it. But I have no hype for it. It Takes Two, I'm stoked for though. That's made by the guy who made, or the team that made A Way Out. It's another cooperative game, 2-player co-op game. So I will be buying that.
That immediately makes it interesting.
Yep, exactly. Day of release. So just because they got really cool ideas, and I like that this is gonna be the same thing. It's a 2-player co-op game that you'll be able to play with somebody if they don't have a copy. Because they're just all in on this fucking like 2-player experience, no compromise, which I really respect. Monster Hunter Rise, 100% I'm buying.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I gotta play the demo. I did play the demo. It was awesome. So yeah, Monster Hunter Rise will be picked up and being played on March 26th and after for a while. And then I'm curious about Disco Elysium, the Final Cut. I hope I get some kind of upgrade to that, or do I have to buy it? I don't know. We'll find out.
I know Steam usually will just themselves give you a discount for buying the new version.
And I'd be okay with that too. But yeah, I already own it. I've played it. I like it. So I'd like to play a more extended version. That's a game that you could definitely extend because there's already a lot of variables going on when you play it. So if they add even more, I think they're adding like more voice acting to it as well. I think all characters talk now.
Okay.
Which is really cool. So, and maybe they'll make fucking Kuno talk less. I hate that kid. He's trying to fuck Kuno. God, I hate that kid. I hate him. It's like one of my
hate everybody in that game.
That's one of my most hated characters ever in a game. Is Kuno, because I just want to fuck him. Yeah. What games are you stoked for?
I have a slight interest in both Harvest Moon and Olive Town. I need to actually see something on both of them though.
Glad you shortened it because that's quite the title. Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. Who's gonna be like, hey, one copy of Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town, please? Nobody, because we all buy digital.
So yeah, I'm curious about both those games. I'm more so curious about Olive Town just because it is not part of a series. So
yeah,
what are they bringing to the table type of deal.
That's what excites me is it's a new IP. So I want to know what's up with that.
Or if it's not, I just didn't know about it to begin with. So.
Sure, yeah. It's just the alien nature of it. I'm like, what is that guy going on?
For sure. Like you, I would like to buy all the Yakuzas on PC. I just need to be at a point where I'm going to play them before I make that decision.
Yeah, they're like 34 hours a pop, so they're not short games.
I am very slightly interested in Balan Wonderland only because the guy who made Sonic made it. Unless I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
No, the people made Boltstorm made it.
I did watch a little bit of someone else play Balan Wonderland, and it is definitely just like a platformer. So we'll see if it's bringing anything interesting to the table, or if it's just going to be generic feeling. I don't know yet. It Takes Two. I was not interested in until you said who made it, and now I am definitely interested in it because I absolutely loved A Way Out. It was way better than it really kind of deserved to be honest.
For an indie game, for sure.
Yeah, the storytelling that's better than most games. So it was great, especially
I thought
because
it was
it's
a fun
two-player.
two-player cooperative experience. It was built for that experience.
Yeah, well, and it's hard to tell stories with multiplayer games because you have to be able to get everyone involved, and that game really handled it super well.
Well, to execute storytelling events is difficult to do with multiplayer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Some people have done it, but it's really hard. Even in open world games, it's difficult.
For sure.
You have to lead them to an area where it can happen.
And in that, like,
Or tell them through fucking audio logs. I hate that
because
shit.
the way it does, like, the split screen where, like, you're doing your thing and you know I'm doing my thing, and even though like maybe my thing is just like to keep me busy while you're doing dialogue, I'm still like there for it, so I can see it happening while I can still mess around and
Well,
see the,
and A Way Out did this really cool thing that I haven't seen really done in games. It had a split screen thing going on, but when major story elements were happening on one player's experience, the split screen would move so that you could still be playing over here in the corner, but over here where the major event was happening, you can kind of be playing, kind of walking, but kind of see what's happening.
Yeah.
And that was really smart.
yeah. So definitely interested in that. Monster Hunter is a no duh buy. Like
No duh. Monster Hunter, no duh. That's the new one.
They don't even really have to show me those games anymore. They just say, "Hey, I'm making a Monster Hunter." I'm like, "All right, cool, I'll buy that." Until that fails me. That's pretty much where I'm at with those.
Yeah, Monster Hunter so far hasn't really failed at all, so.
Yeah, I mean, they've had like a couple titles where like I didn't really know they existed because they didn't like really change it up too much, but usually you know, they've never been bad, I guess is the best way to put that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Disco Elysium. I never beat it to begin with. The game's a little bonkers for me, but
Technically beat it.
well, okay, I've gotten an ending. But not the good ending, I'm sure. So,
I don't know if that game's going to have a good ending.
probably
I
not.
don't think it's set up for that. That game's kind of bleak.
Well, it's like playing Nier Automata. Like the game doesn't have good ending either. So,
Anything else?
nope.
All right, let us know in the comments what games are you guys looking forward to in March. Is there something that wasn't on the list that we should keep our eye out for? Is there something on this list you're very excited for? I know a lot of people in our community is going to be very excited for Monster Hunter Rise. Let me know scale of 1 to 10 your excitement for Balan Wonderland. Are you very excited for that game? Have you played it? Let me know in the comments. What did you think of it? And let me know what you think about it. So we got a video we're gonna watch. We got 2 videos to watch. One might get us in trouble, so stay tuned for that. But the first video we're gonna watch is Aliens Fireteam, which is a new cooperative Aliens game. Now, before we watch this, I'm a huge Aliens fan. I love Aliens. I don't give a fuck about Predator. I know that's blasphemy for some people, and people always compare the two. I'm Aliens 100%. Xenomorphs are fucking awesome. I love everything about Aliens. So why haven't we gotten any good Alien games since or after Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator 2? Those games were fucking great. And Alien Isolation was
Mostly
good.
the Sega one.
Everything else, though, they just, for some reason, and it's fucking 2021, we haven't gotten an amazing Aliens game yet? I can't believe that. That's insane to me. You could make so many good games out of Aliens, and they haven't done it. So, the idea of Aliens as a property for making games always is exciting for me. But, given the history, I kind of assume it's going to be trash. So... This is a third-person shooter, which I think is weird, because Aliens, I think, can lend itself better to first-person because it's always tight quarters, dark, scary.
Yeah.
You can get, more jump scares out of that, more horror out of it. Third-person kind of is telling me like, oh, it's like a fucking shooter, just gonna mow shit down. So
Yeah, they might just try to, instead of like trying to scare you, they might just try to stress you instead.
if they can just make like just make a fun Aliens game at this point, and I won't complain.
Yeah.
So I'm lightly interested because Aliens. I'm hesitant to get it. I almost said pessimistic, which is true as well. But I'm hesitant to get excited for a game like this, though, because they're probably not going to nail it. Somebody needs to come in with a really good. They need to start from the ground up working on Xenomorph AI. and how to make them interact with environments, and get that down first, and then build the game after. Because that's the hardest thing you got to do, is get xenomorphs to move in a way that's compelling enough. Get them to be able to run into vents and run on walls and leap at you and try and stalk you. Alien Isolation has a very complex AI system for the alien, but it's one alien.
Yeah.
They need to do what Left 4 Dead did for zombie games with xenomorphs.
That would be...
No, I'm not saying do Left 4 Dead's crowds running at you, but that was only time... That was the first time people had gotten crowds of zombies to run at you in a game.
Right.
Before that, you'd walk in an area and there'd be like 3 zombies, and they come walking at you, shambling and shit. But in Left 4 Dead, a bunch of them would just come, blah, 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 just running at you and stuff. And it was like the first time that ever happened in a game. And so, if you have the mods, so they need to do the same kind of like thing that game did for crowds of zombies for xenomorphs. They need to make it feel like xenomorphs are on the fucking walls and shit, and you're shooting them and like crazy. And they could do it, but they don't want to. They just want to make a basic fucking shooter with xenomorphs in it, because they're trying to sell the brand, because they're fucking shameless. So anyway, thoughts?
Is it single player or multiplayer?
Multiplayer, co-op.
I have a very small interest then.
Okay. This is 25 minutes. We're not going to watch the whole thing. At some point, I may skip forward if it's feeling like we kind of got the gist. So, we might watch for like 5 minutes. So, ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. I think they're just going to make like a Left 4 Dead feeling fucking Aliens game, which I'm fine with.
Our game this month is Aliens Fireteam. It's 3 of us against a whole hell of a lot of aliens. I am joined here in the game by Matt and Craig from Cold Iron Studios. Guys,
Ryan McCaffrey's one of the last people at IGN I don't
thanks.
mind.
Hey Ryan, thanks
He's
for
been
having
there
us on
forever.
board. We're excited to play with you, man.
Let's get started right away.
kind of a
Just
dork, though.
let's roll here. We want to get people seeing what's doing with this video game
Probably
and
need more
and
dorks.
see what sort
Yeah,
of
more
dangers
dorks, more
and
like nerdy ass
happy
fucking.
things
I love
await
video
us
game
around
people,
each
unless. Let me tell you
So
how
we're
video
playing
games
a
are,
mission.
people.
We're
Let me
on
tell you
Tonga,
something.
which is
Yeah.
an
Let me
orbital
explain to you how
refinery in the
bras
Outer
work,
Rim.
kids.
Our battalion
Okay,
of
get the
Colonial
fuck outta
Marines, we've gotten a distress call, and they've sent this fire team, us, the 3 of us, to investigate
pretty
and
good.
do search and rescue.
It looks decent.
So
I
obviously
think it's
the
weird that her
game
gun is stationary and locked, and her
third-person
body's
shooter
reacting
here.
around the gun.
Yeah, it's a little weird. The arms.
The gun won't move, but the body's moving
is
around
it
it.
always
I would say I
a
actually think the
three-person
body's not
fire
moving
team?
either. It's literally seems like just the arms.
Yep, always
It's really weird
3-person fire
looking.
team. You can play solo.
Okay.
We'll give you bots so that you can play
Nice.
through, but
Okay,
really
bot
you want to be
support.
going through with your friends.
Nice.
They probably made the core body have its animation, and then have the gun floating in place next to it, and then they just lock the arms with it. To,
So they're just shocks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or left 3 aliens, I guess would be the.
I
more
mean, that's not
applicable
really a
term
They're
here,
huge
making
but-
deal,
I
obviously.
mean,
but
just for
comparisons to
context,
Left 4
is
Dead.
Left 4 Dead a reasonable kind of comparison here?
Sure, we are a third-person co-op survival shooter, so very close in a lot of aspects, but
Yeah.
very different in many others too.
I am kind of excited that they are just getting simplistic with this game. I'm just going like, hey,
Well, I'll
you're
tell you,
playing a
it
co-op
looks
game,
real
you're shooting
nice.
fucking
Like, I love the
xenomorphs.
lighting
Yeah.
going on.
Because
It
that,
runs
I'm like, yeah, I
great.
could
mean,
play
I'm
that for
at
sure.
14
If it's mindless,
right now.
just don't try and tell
I
like some
think our
great
recording's only
story
60
and try to
frames, but I
expand the
think I'm
fucking
running
lore
a much higher
and make
frame rate than that.
shitty
So
aliens
clearly,
that
you
don't
guys
work well.
have dialed up the performance on this.
Not encouraging. Continue your sweep.
Oh, there's a guy right there. You got him, Craig.
What the fuck just
So
happened?
right now, I'm playing a technician class. I set up perimeters. I have a turret and some charge coils.
That was so weird.
to
He like talked to him and
kinda
then it's
help
just
us out
silence.
through-
He's like,
through
I
this
got him. I'm
mission.
like, you're not gonna like
Craig, you're
respond what he
Demolisher,
said.
right? Yep, I'm Demolisher.
It's cool the
I'm
smart
all
gun
about
actually is
clearing
locking on.
enemies. I got micro rockets. I got blast wave. I also get to use heavy weapons like a grenade launcher, flamethrower,
so creepy.
and then my favorite, smart.
So they actually got him running on
And then
walls and shit.
I,
That's cool to
have a
see.
gunner here, which probably
Looks,
the,
you know,
just kinda
simplistic just
general
running at
all-around
you,
class.
but
Is that fair to
it's
say?
it's
Yeah,
still
all
cool
about
that you did it.
firepower.
Just leap from the ceiling to the
frag
wall.
grenade.
It also looks
You're
like
carrying the
these are just like the
M41,
fodder, though,
a
so hopefully
classic
there's,
right
like,
now, and you have
boss-style ones, too.
overclock.
Sure.
So yeah, talk about those cooldowns that are.
Well, it's probably gonna be like Left 4 Dead.
I'm
They're
on
probably gonna
the
be like the
PUA
bigger ones are gonna show up
different on the
randomly,
game
Yeah.
pad,
and like attack
so
you and
each
shit, like
class has 2
tanks
unique
and.
abilities on a cooldown.
So one of the things that we've done with
the
the
names of
co-op
things.
survival shooter,
Spitters and
we really
shit,
leaned
whatever
into,
it's
you know, for us, co-op
play-
games
oh,
are all
Smoker.
about making sure that you have
Jockey
a role
and
to
blah, blah,
play,
blah,
Yeah,
and
some
we do that through our class
crap
kits.
since I've
And,
played fucking Left 4
like,
Dead.
I saw
like
someone
we
playing that
mentioned,
recently.
we're
I was
playing
like,
Technician,
whoa, weird.
Cody's
Demolish
been fucking
Runner.
wanting to play it lately.
Each of those has 2 different abilities that are on cooldown. There are
That was
also
one
a
of the first
bunch of
games he
perks
got
that
into
go along
PC
with that,
I
with
remember,
us.
yeah.
as well as other things that let you customize and kind of advance these kits as you level them up.
Sloppy work.
We've definitely got the Aliens vibe going on here. Like I'm already feeling it as we move through these low ceiling corridors, and this door is about to open.
Yeah, the dev team has spent so much time perfecting that and working on that, looking at movie reference and what. Up, burster, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Yeah.
was
Oh.
a different alien.
Yeah, so it has like
Standard
special
wall-crawling
infected essentially.
xenomorph.
That's
What-
cool.
What was
Too bad we didn't get a chance to
Yeah,
see what it
there's
does.
we've expanded.
Yeah, there's like Burster and
on
they
the
shot
suite
it.
of
I'm like,
aliens that
okay,
you've
what's it
seen in
do?
the films quite a bit. There's over 20 enemy types in our game. That
Oh,
was a
wow.
Burster. As you saw, when he explodes, he leaves a huge pool of acid. and
Okay,
you want to avoid
I'm
that.
probably sold already.
So here's an ammo cache.
Oh,
I'm gonna refill.
Just because the
You
simple
refill
premise.
ammo. We've got some guys
Yeah.
on the
I
ceiling.
don't think this
coming
game's
up
gonna be
on the left-hand side
amazing,
here.
but it looks like something I would definitely play. The thing that's really kind of I'm hung up on though is what's progression look like? Is there actual upgrades or is it just
Man, the
Left 4
sound-
Dead where you're
you guys have
beating the
really
levels to
nailed
say you
the
beat them?
sound of Aliens.
especially
It's
with,
never-
like,
it's just so classic.
Warhammer,
like the sound of the weapons, the
Vermintide.
sound of
Yeah.
xenomorphs.
Having loot and stuff.
If you can
love
upgrade
the
your
sound of the
guns
video game.
and stuff in this game, I'm all for it.
Yeah, our lead
I will
sound
definitely
designer
pick it up.
Derek has done just a kick-ass job.
First on the wall. I got it. Okay.
You got him. Oh, there's another one on the wall.
So each is it 2 weapons at all times? For,
I would like
for
to see
any
them
character?
leaping more.
It's 2
At
primary
you.
weapons, and that's a slot that you can fill.
Because even
with
in like
any one of
AVP
the
too,
30
like
weapons
the
that we
multiplayer
have that
online,
fits in that
like
slot.
playing against people was fun
And
because
then
they
if
like
you
come
get
leaping
low on
and making
ammo,
doors and shit, and it was like
you
really
can
stressful.
switch to a
Right.
sidearm.
It does
I'll
seem
do
like they're
right
finally
now.
getting close to
You
them,
can
which
see
is
it,
nice.
It hits a lot weaker, but conserves ammo.
They might be
so
playing
you
on
have that
fucking
third option
easy
if you
too,
need one.
just to show the game
Now I know
off.
why
for
there was
sure.
an ammo crate right here.
Yeah.
We got a spitter out there, Craig.
Wish the
Oh,
game was
got me.
darker
You
though.
gotta spit on me. And these unique aliens have a bit bigger of a health bar, right?
Got him.
The exits are sealed by Hanukkah.
The
Yeah, the
environments
spitter
look like
launches,
aliens for sure, but
launches
they're also kind
acid
of basic
projectiles at
in
you.
like the geometry.
And they,
Right.
they do tend to be a
They're
little
very
bit tougher.
like
You got to
just
worry about them a
square.
little bit more. As we were saying, we
But that's probably
we have a
'cause,
bunch of different
you know,
enemies,
what
bunch
they're
of
doing with
different
running on the
critters
ceiling
within
and the
game.
walls, they
all
need
have
to be
their
able to
different AIs, behaviors,
map
and kind
how
of
to,
role within the combat as well.
Yeah.
get around things.
I'm gonna refill ammo before we flip the switch.
So I'm watching on the right side.
How are we doing
I'm
health
thinking we can track
wise?
the doctor using station logs.
I'm saving my med kit.
Access point, but
Yeah.
it's
I
for
could,
now. Concentrate
Yeah, it
on
sounds
getting
like
the
Left 4
power
Dead.
up.
Craig, do you want me to heal you?
I'm okay.
Which is cool because I
think
think
I can
still
make it a little
there
bit
needs to be more
further.
games in that genre.
I think I can make it a little bit further. Thanks.
There's plenty
More
now,
runners.
but
Oh,
I
I
would
got
definitely
wrecked.
welcome more.
Okay. It's because I stuck
Yeah, I mean,
my
I don't
nose
know
out
if
ahead
I'd
of you
play
guys.
this.
We're lucky.
Play Scout.
Just because there's
We're
nothing
playing
necessarily
default
like
too in
screaming out
terms
to
of
me that
difficulty, so
there
we don't
goes,
have
well, you
to
don't
worry
already
about
own
things
this.
like
So
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Jumper, jumper,
what
boom.
keeps you playing? Is
Yeah.
it just the
We don't
gameplay?
have to
Because if
worry
it's
about
just the
friendly
gameplay,
fire. We don't
there's
have to
games that I
worry
think are
about
better that already
resources
exist.
nearly as much
This
as
is
the
straight
higher
up just shooting in third
difficulties within the
person,
game.
which is fine.
They're out there. I'm gonna
You're shooting at
put,
xenomorphs, which I,
Oh,
you
nice.
know, I'd be lying if I wasn't like,
It's
oh,
way
that's
too
cool,
far.
but it's not enough. They're not doing anything particularly interesting.
Watch out for the spitter.
So I'm
I'm gonna
curious
run up there
about
and see
like
if I can distract him.
what happens in
Same.
between
Right with
levels.
Oh,
Nice.
he dodged me. You got him. Thank you.
Got it. So, talk a little bit about the variety, because in terms of this game can't just be the same over and over, right? Like, what is sort of you want people to play time and time again and just keep making new runs with their friends. So, how does the game sort of update itself or change itself from session to session?
Sure. So, I mean, there are 4 different campaigns with 3 missions each. We're playing one of the missions right now, so there's a bunch of different variety there. In
So
terms
12
of
levels?
the enemy types that show up in there, the environments that you see. But in terms of mixing up each subsequent playthrough through
Yeah.
each one. We have the different difficulty levels, which adds a whole lot of different stuff. We do have cool hand-tuned encounters, but each one of those has tons of different variation, tons of different randomness built in there. And there are, heuristics and algorithms behind the scene that are, adding enemies, changing up the pace of the mission, making sure that, players have to keep on their toes.
Okay.
Cool. All right, let's see. I'll gear up for this.
Did you, there's a consumable here.
Yeah, grabbed a
Kind of reminds me
sentry
of
gun there.
World War Z. Although that game was a lot better than I
I'm
thought it
gonna
was going to be.
save mine till
That game is actually pretty
or
cool.
maybe just keep it for another mission.
He says ominously as the game developer who knows what's going to happen.
I should
I'm gonna
play that
hoard mine.
again.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, except my sentry
beat
gun is
every
facing
level.
the wrong way. I messed that.
It's smart
The
enough.
game had online.
I'm starting it up.
You're starting
Well, it's all
Let's do it.
online,
Let's
but
rock
like
and roll.
versus
So we're
shit too,
starting
which is
up
pretty
this
cool.
big
That game had a lot to it.
Oh, over on
Really
the right.
underrated. It's really underrated if you're curious
Yeah,
about
you're
World
gonna
War
want
Z.
to
You
watch
should
your
play it.
motion tracker in the bottom right hand corner.
Wouldn't be Alien without the motion tracker.
Honestly, what he described about the longevity, I don't know if it didn't really do much for me.
It's already getting a little crowded up here.
Yeah.
They
I
burst
say I
her
still
out
just
there.
kind of see Left 4
Couple
Dead right now.
verses. Oh,
Yeah. Let's skip forward. Pretty much got the gist.
So that you can end up customizing your kits, change out what your abilities
I
end up
skipped to the right
being
part.
like. Oh, I'm gonna knock this guy back. I'm getting distracted through all the questions. Look at my health. This
Yeah,
is
it's
the
tough
worst.
to get interviewed and play this game at the same time.
Dr. Honecker.
Because we are doing this live. We are playing and talking at the same.
Yeah, I'm using that explosive.
All right, so there's that. They came out of that area.
One thing that's been really hard for me watching videos
just
on the
grab
channel in
ammo.
the last like
There's
years,
a
a lot of
crate
people are
over
doing
here.
shit over the internet,
Excellent.
and their audio levels are fucked
Yeah.
constantly. Like
Craig,
I had
right
my audio levels like fine tuned to the point where I could watch almost any video and have my audio already set up, and now I have to redo it every single time we do a new episode because
Right.
everybody's audio is at
So,
different
in
levels,
terms of
and even in one
replayability,
video,
you were talking about
their
Yeah.
talking will be here, and the music
The
of this
difficulty
video will be
levels
here,
add a
or like
lot,
they do like some
as
like
you level up your
webcam
weapon
shit, and then their
kits,
gameplay
you
video is
change
louder
things out.
as fuck. So it's so hard to balance for
all
that.
of the
There's a video we
different
did
systems
recently
and
where we
mechanics
reacted to
within
shit,
the
and
game
one video was
itself
like perfect, the other one was
changes
like
as
way
you
too
play
quiet, and then was way
One
too
of the
loud. I was
other
like,
things we're really
Jesus
excited about
Christ.
is the challenge card system.
If I can bounce my
yeah.
audio as a dude who's
I
not
saw
getting
that at
fucking
the menu.
paid
It was really
by any
interesting to
company,
play with that
you
here.
motherfuckers should be doing
There
it.
are dozens of
I'm sure a
these
lot of
in
those people have
games,
someone
and
who,
there are these cards that you can play at the
used to just
beginning
do
of
it for
missions.
them.
Probably, yeah. A lot of them
Gotcha.
probably don't do shit when it comes to
Thank you.
they weren't at home
Cards that
setting
you
up
can
their
play at the beginning
webcam
of
and,
missions
and setting
that-
shit
that
up.
really
It's
mutate the missions.
still
They're
annoying.
really
To show somebody
mutators
even
to the game.
remotely
They
fucking
can
going
do
like,
things
okay,
like
turn
adding,
up a little
cool,
bit. We
interesting
do it
screen
with Chris
overlays.
Yep.
Then they can do
all the time.
things like, maybe
Anyway, I think we've seen enough. Final thoughts on that?
I mean, it looks okay. It definitely, looks like another entry in that genre. The third person perspective is an interesting take. Hopefully, it does have some systems in place for longevity, though. Otherwise, the game's gonna last a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, I mean, I think it looks pretty interesting. It's hard for me to have like a really big opinion because I don't feel like, and I think it's the nature of them just kind of doing it live and like playing the game and not being able to actually like deep delve into it in a timely fashion. We don't have like a lot of time to sit here and watch. It's a half-hour video, so I don't know. I'm curious to see more. I guess it would be the best way to put it before I make a hard decision.
That's exactly where I'm at. I know I'd play this game. I don't know how long I'd play it.
Yeah.
If it's $30, I wouldn't even think about it. I'll buy it. If it's $30 or less. If it's more than that, I gotta think about it. But it does remind me now more and more of World War Z. It's almost seems like the exact same game. That guy actually got just fucking tackled by a xenomorph. That's cool. And I actually liked World War Z a lot. I think it also came out with 12 fucking missions when it launched, and it had like the kits that you had to buy and change out your weapons and stuff like that. I think it had something it had skill trees, I believe, and weapon upgrades. Something I don't remember. It had progression. And so if this game can't meet what that game has, though, it's gonna be a hard sell for me, just because like, I mean, they did it. So anybody who gets like an official branded or Aliens branded game should have the budget to outdo them. I guess World War Z is also like a big property, but not as big as Aliens.
Right.
So yeah, I hope they have enough content in this game to keep it interesting. Otherwise, I'm not playing World War Z, so what would keep me playing this? But I'll keep my eye on it for sure because I'm a sucker for xenomorphs, even if they're in something I'm not a big fan of. I like anything with the xenomorph in it. So yeah, let me know in the comments unless you have something else to say. What'd you guys think of Aliens Fireteam? Forgot the name already. Does it look cool? Does it not look cool? Are you kind of where we're at, where it's like, yeah, it looks all right. We'll keep an eye on it. Is there features about this that we didn't hear about because we didn't watch the whole video that you're like, whoa, you didn't even hear that part? Let us know in the comments.
Is there a better video to watch?
Is there a better video? Fucking where people actually respond to people when they talk.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily like hating on the video. I get they're just kind of hanging out. I would like a more structured video for like information purposes.
They should hire me. I would have fucking relayed the info to Ryan just fine. I don't mind talking to people. And yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Aliens and Aliens Fireteam and the whole brand. You big fan of xenomorphs, or are you a guy who likes or girl who fucking loves Predator? Are you a Predator person? Because you're on the wrong side. Yeah. Next video. Okay, so this one might get us in trouble. We got to talk about it. In fact, I might do something to the screen. I don't know how I want to go about this because I don't want to get in trouble. But we're going to be watching the Elden Ring leak trailer that came out, the leaked one. I'm sure you guys have already seen it at this point. It's been a couple days. But the long fabled mythical Elden Ring, the game that multiple people now have told me they don't think it's real, which I'm like, I assure you it is, has been leaked. Apparently the footage that was shown, I have seen this, so we will just be talking about it. I don't think you have seen it.
I haven't,
No. It shows a lot, but it's not good quality. This footage, I guess, is from a couple years ago.
Okay, so it's not even current.
It's not current, yeah. Although I look at it and it looks like what the game will most likely look like to me. I'll be surprised if it's a huge departure from this. But because this is like a full-on trail, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this is footage from a while ago. I guess it was an internal video that they're showing internally, and yeah, it was leaked on purpose or not. We'll never know. But because I've been hearing rumors, little whispers that Elden Ring will be shown this year at an Xbox event, which would be great for Xbox to have that reveal. It'd get a lot of people watching. But yeah, outside of that, don't know much about it, and I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for watching it. Luckily, my channel's fucking minuscule, very small, best community on YouTube, on the internet, but not very big. So hopefully we don't draw a lot of eyes to this, and I don't get in trouble, because this kind of footage, I think they typically pull, because they're like, you're not supposed to see that. Get that out of here. So
you might have to make 2 versions of this in case you have to re-upload it.
True. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe putting like a little box maybe on the screen in front of it so the algorithm doesn't read it as easily or something like that. I could just blur out the screen too, or make the screen smaller. I don't know. I don't know what to fucking do with this. So we're just going to put it up. If they take it down, I'll re-upload the video and re-edit it, which I really don't want to do. But you guys understand where I'm coming from on this. Anything you want to say before we hop into Elden Ring? You've played Demon Souls. Yeah. You played that one quite a bit. You've played Dark Souls.
And Dark Souls 2 a little bit.
Yeah. Dark Souls 3?
No.
Sekiro?
No. And a little bit of Bloodborne.
Armored Core?
The old ones.
Fuck yes. Where is Armored Core? Tenchu? They own Tenchu now. That was different people that made the original, though. What was the other one said? Oh, Bloodborne.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Bloodborne.
Favorite.
It's a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because I used to say Bloodborne. People are like, what? No, Dark Souls 3, bro.
That game has a lot of love.
What? No, Dark Souls. I hate Dark Souls 2, and I love Dark Souls 2. But fucking, like, dude, Bloodborne, dude. It's, like, so good. It's so fucking good. And now, like, more and more, everyone's like, Bloodborne's, like, my favorite game ever made. I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, I hear nothing but positive about it all the time.
Bloodborne 2, when that gets announced, it's going to be a big deal, for sure. I'm so stoked about that.
It'd be stupid of Sony not to pay for it at this point.
So you have some background in From Soft games.
I do.
So thoughts moving into this open world From Software game. that I'm going to spoil a little bit. It seems very Dark Soulsy,
Yeah.
but it's bright out daytime.
So I always love watching people play these games, and I think they are very impressive in what they do. I love that they are just okay with being completely unforgiving.
You don't have
But
easy
fair.
modes.
I don't know. They still manage to be fair.
They're so fair. People need to learn to get better at games.
I don't.
If they want to do it.
I don't play these kind of games though.
Yeah.
And not because of lack of interest. Like you said, I have tried multiple times. The biggest problem I run into is I get really into my head, and if something jumps out at me, I'm just done playing. I don't like being jump scared at all. And so even if the game isn't scary, like I would say, like most of the things that make me shut games off usually aren't like necessarily intended to be scary as much as just like throw you off.
Like when you're playing Bug Snacks, all of a sudden you add like a French fry to someone, it goes dun, and you're like,
No, not like that.
I'm out of here.
No, like
Fuck this.
in Bloodborne, like, you know, someone hiding behind a stairwell and you don't see them, you walk by, they jump out and hit you real quick, and then I'm like, it makes me jump, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I shut it off. So, just not my speed on games essentially. So, but that being said, I can sit and watch someone play it, and I don't have that experience. So it's obviously just when I'm in control of the character that I go through that. But yeah, I'm always keeping an eye on what From Software's coming out with though, because I feel like they definitely have earned their place as
Oh, dude, they're rock stars.
yeah, as one of those companies. So
They're like CD Projekt Red before CD Projekt Red released the game. So hopefully they don't follow the same path.
their second big update for that's coming out soon.
Yeah, it got delayed because of all the bullshit that keeps happening in that game. Oof. I'm really excited for this game. I love everything that From Software has made. I've been a big fan since Armored Core. I would love a new one. I mean, like, if there's a game if there's a game that got announced that would get me like the most hyped, it'd be Armored Core. But I'll take anything else that they make as well. I'm excited for this. They've kind of played it safe while evolving their formula for a while now with Dark Souls, and then Bloodborne, which is different but similar, and Sekiro, which I think is the biggest departure but is similar to what they do, and Elden Ring, from what I've seen, we're going to talk about after we watch it. You haven't seen it, I have. Seems to be a safe evolution to a bigger scale that I'm really curious how they're going to incorporate their like world-renowned fucking map design that I think is second to no one in terms of like designing routes and intricate map layouts. I'm very, very curious to see how they add that to like a big-ass map.
For sure.
And how they do combat, enemy encounters, stuff like that. Because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be open world. That's what I fucking heard. And then the video I watched, it looks like it is.
I haven't heard anything on this, so I have no idea.
We'll just watch this and we'll talk about it. But just keep it short. Very excited for Elden Ring. And can't wait to play it. Can't wait to see an official trailer. Can't wait for my YouTube channel to get nuked for watching this. So YouTube, if you're listening, just take the video down if I'm not supposed to have it up, and I will.
Watching them do stupid shit lately.
And I will just re-upload it without the footage. But we're still gonna talk about it. So with that said, let's fucking gamble. Let's roll the dice and watch Elden Ring full leaked trailer footage, 112 seconds or 1 minute 52 seconds in normal terms. 3, 2, 1, go. So we got some giant fucking harpoon chained troll boys. Some very large scale shit going on here. Some cool weapons.
They've come a long ways from the original Demon Souls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but just watch when like the character moves and stuff like that. Well, you can sneak, it looks like, but see how he walks?
Yeah.
It's so reminiscent of all Souls games. The combat also looks similar. The rolling.
Yeah.
the bosses and the tells and shit.
You know, they say they weren't going to make any more Dark Souls games, right?
That's what they said. I don't even believe that. But if they keep doing what they're doing here,
they're still technically making them. They're just not making Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, while we were talking, we saw horseback riding, which is obviously something we're not used to seeing. Also, some really cool magical abilities.
Right.
Snowy locations. It's daytime, which is kind of cool to see. So this has like a more of an epic. Well, I think Dark Souls is a pretty epic feeling,
Right.
in its scale. But that you're gonna be like going on this like big open adventure. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
The door opening. I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's so many things here that it's like so Souls-like. But and the scale. I was gonna say the scale's huge, but that's not new. Even Demon Souls, when you first get to the castle, you're looking at it, and it's just insanely massive and so cool looking.
Yeah. No, I mean, they definitely make larger than life games. So
Yeah, and it's I fucking love it. And there's something I love everything about the Dark Souls series and all the games that they've made, but like the worlds they create are so like I gotta take a second to take it in.
Yeah.
Like I just look at it visually, I'm like, holy shit, this is like so daunting. And knowing you're going to be going in and fighting all these things that just are designed to murder you, gives you that sense of like, and I've talked about this a million times, but like conquering the game, conquering the bosses, moving forward. It gives you this sense of scale and epicness that I think almost no games, even the games that want to be Dark Souls, they don't get that feeling of like you're just becoming more and more of a badass when you beat people, beat bosses, stuff like that. So yeah, what do we think of the gameplay that we saw here? The prospect of some of the things that they're definitely adding that are new to games that they've made. Some stuff that seems to be returning, like the combat feeling very or seemingly looking similar. Boss encounters, doing a lot of rolling.
Yeah, I honestly don't know if I have a whole lot to say. I do know. So like, the one thing I like is they're keeping it true to form. They know their fan base and they're just refining it constantly, which is great. But they do add things without, I think, alienating too much, which I think is great too. So like, obviously they're adding the horseback riding, which I don't think is going to detract from the game at all. It's still going to feel the very same. We see like the way like on foot exploration is very familiar in that regard.
Yeah, this is a separate game though.
Yeah.
This isn't Dark Souls. This isn't Sekiro. This isn't
Sure,
Bloodborne.
I know.
So like, it doesn't have to be the same.
No, I know that. I'm just saying they have like a thing they do though pretty consistently throughout their games, and then they kind of experiment with things by also kind of keeping that familiarity always there as well.
Yeah.
So you're just seeing more of that. As usual, the game's really good looking. Their imagination
For what we
is
can see, yeah.
out of this world.
Even right there, fucking just these giant ass fucking guys with these spikes through them pulling this. It's just like that's so From Software, and they're like really dark designs.
Yeah, and that is not just in their enemies design. That's in their landscape designing, their buildings, their armor, everything is like just so intricately
See how
done.
small this dude is?
Yeah.
Compared to all this, it's fucking crazy. I love it.
Like at some point in this video, it showed like a person like in like actual wizard garb, and it just looked so different from like that guy who had kind of like a Middle Eastern mixed with European.
The armor's fucking sick looking. I love it.
They got really good minds when it comes to.
Oh, they know style, dude.
It's style, yeah, exactly. And I don't necessarily mean like that they have to look cool looking as much as like they look completely thought out, fully realized part of the world, type of thing. They're just really great because obviously, like liking a style is a subjective thing, anyways. But yeah, I don't know. It's neat. I'm definitely interested to see it. I probably have fun watching people play it. I really doubt I will play it though. So
So one thing I'm noticing here is someone sneaking. So I hope it does have stealth. The Souls games have had stealth in the sense that if you walk behind someone, you can backstab them. It's a legit tactic for sure, but it's not like for someone who's looking for stealth in a game, it doesn't really do much for me. But Sekiro introduced some stealth mechanics, which was definitely welcome. So I hope that makes its way into this, and it looks like it is. If you can make a stealth character in this open world, that would be fucking sick. I would love that. So I'm hoping that's what we're seeing here. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick. I'm very excited for this. The idea of bringing the From Software design and things that they've learned in the games that they've made so far into an open world experience is new territory. And the idea of like, there's already a sense of exploration in Souls games anyway, in these intricate hallways and big grand like rooms and stuff like that, and little secret nooks here and there, and this wall that you can break down that leads somewhere, or a fucking well you can drop down if you do it correctly and survive. There's a whole thing down there. To hope that they can bring that kind of intricate level design to an open world would be revolutionary. I might be overselling that, but I really think their design, even in style and their character design, everything. The only thing that I think they're weak at is like making people's faces,
which they've gotten better at for sure.
But Blue Point did a great job at that, and fucking
yes.
like that character creator is fucking awesome. Taking all that stuff that From Software is known for, and that epic feeling, with just not even Souls games, even Armored Core, all that stuff. They have this tone that they do in their games, and bringing that to an open world experience will, if they do it correctly, fucking be huge. It'll be a big fucking deal, and I'm really excited for that. Everything we're seeing here is right up my alley. I love everything I'm seeing visually, the style, the locations that are varied, the big castles that we're seeing that you're used to in a Souls type game, but then these big sprawling open fields that I'm not used to in a Souls game. Horseback riding, which I think is really cool, because obviously you're going to need that for traveling across these areas. I wonder how combat will feel on that. I wonder if there's going to be any cost to possibly losing your horse or not, because games that they've made in the past, I don't want to call this a Souls game, but let's be real, it looks like a Souls style game
for sure.
How that will be, how that's going to go in this game, because they're not afraid to punish you in their games. So I don't know how it's going to work. I also don't know how being killed in this game is going to work. Maybe there'll be bonfires across this open world.
Maybe.
And you'll respawn at that, and it'll reset the whole fucking open world. That'd be crazy. Or maybe it'll be like zones, like an Ubisoft game. That would kind of make sense. One thing I keep thinking about, though, that would be amazing: no bullshit co-op.
Yeah.
Or at least less bullshit co-op. I never think of the Souls games as multiplayer games, so I don't play them for that. That it's there and you have to do certain things to do it, I think is fine. Because it's like, you want to do it, you got to earn it. You got to do it this way, blah, blah, blah. Some games are easier than others to do the multiplayer. And it's not necessarily easy. It's just you got to have a certain thing and do a certain thing. I would love if you could play this open world game that's like a Souls style game with people.
Right.
That would be fucking awesome. Like literally, just confirm that. That's the thing. Show this trailer, but also like confirm, hey, you'll be able to play this game with people. Like, it's already day one buy, but like, it's like, I'm going to find a way to buy that before day one. Like, the idea of that would just blow my mind. These boss battles look awesome, but that's to be expected. That's what they do. But to do this in like an open world format, I mean, From Software games also have like these little like side optional bosses. I feel like this game's going to be full of those.
Oh, I'm sure it will
Full
be.
of those, which is going to be cool. You're going to be like roaming somewhere and just run into something, like, what's that? And then you're gonna fight it, and you're like, oh shit, that thing was really hard. Snowy area, that's fucking dope looking. The horse animations, I mean, they say this footage is old. I don't think it's as old as people say it is. I think they're just saying that because the quality of the video sucks, so some people think the game looks bad graphically. I don't agree. I can tell that game looks pretty decent. But so I think a lot of people are going like, oh, it's old footage. It probably is, but I don't think it's that old, because this trailer looks like it's kind of getting ready to be launch. It says from the creators of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. So I mean, like, I don't know how internal this video is meant. This one we're watching, there's multiple clips we're watching here. I don't know how internal that video is supposed to be, because anyone watching this knows what they made. So
Yeah.
it could be a proof of concept on a trailer they want to make for an event, and maybe they're showing people like, this is the trailer we're thinking of. That might be what it is. I don't know. This looks so cool too. This fucking shot right here with like the moon and stuff. I mean, it's Dark Souls looking, but
For
it's very cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know how I can express even further. Like, you know, you take the Dark Souls formula, which they're definitely doing. They're probably going to make some changes, of course. And then you put that in an open world. And if you can have some kind of multiplayer that is, you know, accessible and rewarding, I think you're going to have a huge hit here. I mean, you're going to anyway. It's from Software. They haven't fucked up yet. And they've only built momentum on their fandom. So this game is going to be a success no matter what.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it'll sell. They'll probably make their money back day one. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it failing at all.
Yeah.
I also don't see it being bad. Like,
I think it's impossible.
yeah,
for the game to be
they
bad.
just have way too good of a track record.
And even though I don't think I don't want to keep bringing this up because it's not really a point, but like even though I don't think Cyberpunk is bad, some people do, and they went into it thinking like it's impossible for them to fuck it up, and for them it got fucked up. So, you know, I don't want to say, you know, the whole reason I'm bringing it up is go into these big hyped games with reasonable expectations. I'm very hyped for this game. It's possible it could come out and not be that great, but I don't think it's going to be the case.
Yeah, a lot of people get very emotionally invested.
Oh,
in hype,
100%. And I almost never do. I mean, I played Metal Gear Solid 5, and even though it's the most fun Metal Gear Solid I've played, and I do like the story, the storytelling was not good, the way they did it, as compared to the prior games, and that was disappointing for me. Am I emotionally invested in Metal Gear Solid? Yeah, a lot, but I'm also reasonable. So,
Yeah.
like, I was like, I can discuss it. I can have that conversation.
Played great.
Yeah, it was awesome to play. It's
Yeah.
a very fun game. But yeah, when I beat it, I was like, man, that game would have been great if it had like fucking the same storytelling that Metal Gear Solids have had in the past.
And, you know, maybe full production time.
Yeah, an
Konami.
ending, a proper fucking ending. Holy shit, that was weird.
Seeing all that cut stuff, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much as much as I got to say on this. I don't think I could tell you even further how hyped I am on this game and what I want from it. I already know before playing it that it's going to have a character customization screen. You're going to pick your class similar to a Souls game, I'm sure. It showed in the trailer. Wizard, some kind of warrior type character.
I would say if it does have like full blown co-op, I would be a lot more interested, because even playing like Code Vein, for example, I'm not playing that game, but when I was playing with you, I was having fun. So
For sure. And I think this is the time they could do it. This is new territory for them, jumping into an open world setting, and they could go with that, with us moving forward in what we do with Elden Ring. There's a whole new experience, and this is an open world game that's going to be challenging but rewarding, but also you'll be able to bring your friends with you. That would be amazing.
yeah.
And who would complain? You could play by yourself as well.
Yep.
Just like all the other games that they've made. Just, you know, make the co-op accessible. You and your friends can go on this adventure together. That'd be so dope, so fucking dope. So I hope they do that, but not to the point where if they don't do it, I'll go, wow, goddamn, because they
Right.
never said that. That's me just saying that shit. So, yeah. Anything else? Mm-mm. All right, let us know in the comments, guys. What did you think of the Elden Ring full leaked trailer? What do you think about the individual things we saw? Anything catch your eye? Anything we might have missed? What are you hoping from this game? Are you excited? Has this got you more hyped, less hyped, or about the same? You're like, I kind of expected the game to be like that. And what's your favorite From Software game? Mine, if it's a Souls game, is Bloodborne, and then the Armored Core series, the whole thing, because I love them all. Favorite From Software game?
I can't answer that question.
You don't like Armored Core?
Not enough to like. I never beat any of them.
Not Armored Core 5. That game was the thing that killed Armored Core. But 4 Answer was really good.
I'll say if anything, I've played Demon's Souls
That's your favorite one
the most.
because you played the most.
So
I'll answer for you because yeah, you were on track to beating that game. But yeah, let us know what you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Elden Ring. All right, it's that time where we reflect on the episodes we have done in the past and we read your comments. So if you'd like your comment to be considered, to be read on the show, type in hashtag AskTLG in your comment. Otherwise, I read at random. So we did a video a while ago, and the reason it was a while ago is because we skipped 1 week because we did Plus Club Game of the Month.
Right.
So this is a taste cast from 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to read like a fucking comment a video because we got 5 videos to go through, in which we reacted to BlizzCon 2021, Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, all that stuff. Make sure to go back and watch that. We had a really good conversation. And yeah, we got a comment from Sarah saying, finally, Diablo 2. Vicarious Visions is making D2 Resurrected. I don't expect it to be like Warcraft Reforged, which is something I brought up. I was kind of worried about the reception of Warcraft Reforged, and I was like, hopefully they don't fuck it up like that. But Sarah's saying that it's not. She doesn't expect it to be like that. Though who knows really? They did the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remakes and Crash Insane trilogy. They are known for doing this kind of thing and doing very well. I didn't know it was them. Fucking Crash Insane trilogy is actually pretty fun, and the remake of Tony Hawk 1 and 2 was very well received. So that actually changes my mind quite a bit. Overwatch 2 co-op looks cool. D4 stuff looks cool. I have a hard time getting hyped on Blizzard stuff anymore, though. They make a big show of things to get that sweet fanboy money, but debatable whether they consistently deliver what they promise. I got a fair amount to say about WoW. We're not going to be able to offer much on this, but I hate talking about it in this format. I do have to say that I respect Chris's opinion on not wanting to play classic Burning Crusade, but to say that the Chromie time walking thing is even at all comparable to the Burning Crusade is a little misleading in my opinion. It isn't just about the quests. The whole game is completely different than it was back then. I'm excited to see classic Burning Crusade info release. I love Burning Crusade. It's my favorite era of WoW, and I'm not sure if I will play it though. The deep dive thing they did on it was interesting, but I don't really respect where Blizzard has gone in terms of paid services and their business model in general. Not that something like that will necessarily keep me from playing Blizzard games, but I don't think they can emulate what playing WoW in those eras was like because the company was different, their philosophy was different, the industry and genre were different. I think they likely won't miss the mark as much as they did in Classic, though. Thoughts?
Really, the only thing I have to contribute to any of this is when you made the statement of the game is different now. I don't necessarily understand that in WoW, but in 14, like going back and playing old content, you can turn on an option called minimum eye level, which forces you to play it, at the bare minimum, gear score essentially you're supposed to have to go in there. The problem is because the game has changed so much, damage values on potencies and stuff like that on abilities are just higher now. So it's just easier regardless. So you're not getting that original experience anymore. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I get that feeling. So like if you are just kind of playing through it, like let's say for nostalgia's sake and for story, something like the Chromie thing does make sense. But if you're trying to like relive that experience, you can't obtain it that way.
Yeah.
And so I understand that for sure. So something like a classic does make more sense because they're trying to actually relive that experience the way you actually remember it versus like just getting the nostalgia factor. So I do think at the end of the day, it does come down to what part of that old experience did you want? Is it just the story? Because in which case, like it doesn't matter how it plays, right? But if you want to kind of relive again, yeah, you need those old systems still. I think so.
Yeah, so I was curious about too when we were talking about it, but I get where Chris was coming from, and it would have been nice to have him here so he could actually respond to that. But I do also agree, as somebody who has not played WoW a lot, that you're not going to relive that same experience through that.
Yeah.
Just because of the newer systems.
And like I said, I do think it just comes down to like what aspect of that experience are you looking for?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's fair. Anything else? So you kind of putting some light on the people working on D2 has got me hopeful, which is really cool. I did not know it was the same people. So That's really awesome. Overwatch 2 co-op does look cool. I agree with you, and I'm sure if it comes out and either of us are playing it, I'm sure we will be playing it together. So hopefully it is cool. D4 stuff looks cool. Agreed. I also agree with you on the getting hyped on Blizzard thing. I play their games, but not often anymore, and I don't get super hyped on their games, but I am definitely curious. I think the game I'm mostly hyped for when it comes to Blizzard right now is Diablo 4. That's pretty easy for me to say. And then pretty much what you said about WoW, outside of the deeper elements of if you've been playing it recent as opposed to when it came out, I can't speak on that because I don't play it. I haven't played it recently, but I pretty much agree with everything you're saying here, in terms of that classic experience and not playing that again. I 100% agree with you. I think, and the idea of the company's not the same, the air's not the same, the time, all that stuff. I mean, I agree 100%. I talk about that often with a lot of things. Like, you're not getting certain experiences again. People who are living in the past when it comes to gaming, good luck, because it's not just that game came out at that time. It's an era. It's the influences of that era. It's the people who are involved with the team. That's gone.
Yeah.
You can emulate it. You can try and get something similar to that. You're not doing it again.
Even like when people were trying to like relive like 90s like clothes fashion, like it was reminiscent, but it's not exactly the same. That the era's gone.
I was alive in the 90s.
Well, that's my whole point though.
And
Is like
everyone who's trying to dress like 90s right now, they're not doing it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's because it's newer fashion. It's influenced by it.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
just like 80s stuff. People just think like the 80s was just synths and shit. And I'm like, most music nowadays is like 80s sounding. It doesn't sound like 80s music at all.
It's too clean.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it at all. So anyway, with everything, yeah, those eras are gone. You gotta look to the future. And yeah, if you want to play those old experiences, is like try and find a way to play those original experiences and not new versions trying to replicate it. You can appreciate that, but you're not going to get the same thing. So yeah, thanks for the in-depth comment and addressing everything. Let's see. There was also one addressing Chevy from Keith. It says they're not going to do it all over again, Chev. They're stopping at Lich King most likely.
All right.
So noted. I think I actually brought us something about that when we were watching that, because I was wondering if they would just continue. I think we talked about that. That's probably why he's bringing it up to you directly.
Yeah.
So thank you for the info. I also asked a bit about that, and he explains that they asked the community, and the community said they weren't really interested in anything past Lich King. And then I said, no, Pandaland. No one cared about that, huh? And he said Pandaland was his favorite.
I've had that discussion with him before, and I think that actually says a lot about like why we have different opinions about WoW.
Probably, yeah.
So
yeah.
Because the stuff I loved went away, the stuff he loves started.
Yeah.
So, and it makes complete sense.
That's the interesting thing about a lot of things that last a long time. For instance, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like old school Star Wars fan.
100%.
And then new school Star Wars. A lot of people who like that don't care about the old
There's so
stuff
much Star Wars that I don't like now that I have a hard time saying like I'm a Star Wars fan.
Oh, dude, I abandoned that.
I'm not. I like an era of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and to each their own, of course, as long as people aren't
exactly.
assholes about it. But it's just interesting if something's been around long enough. There can be a moment in that where somebody really connected with it and someone didn't.
100%.
And it's always really interesting to see that. Because I was making that joke about Pandaland. I've heard a lot of people talk shit about it. Not my opinion. I don't know. I didn't play it. But people are like, oh, pandas, blah, 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 blah. And I've heard other people go like, I like it.
Yeah, it was just definitely the beginning of a philosophy change in design.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
you could see that.
Yeah.
Even as like an outsider seeing it, I was like, okay.
I do think it's funny that Cataclysm
things up.
never gets mentioned though, because
No one talks about it. It's weird.
Yeah, and it's funny because I liked Cataclysm, though they were starting to change things at that point, obviously. But it still felt like the same game. But I can see why a lot of people stopped at Lich. But I also think that the whole Lich thing comes down to people were playing Warcraft, the RTSs, and that was still that story up until that point. So it's still technically that story going forward. But
it really does feel like WoW's story has become WoW, which is fine because it is WoW. But there was that early part of WoW that felt like it was continuing Warcraft.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of departed. possibly.
Yeah, well, and a
But
lot of that comes down to
anyone who's super into the lore will probably disagree with me. But
well, creative minds have changed throughout the company, right?
100%,
You know, so
100%.
like the feeling of the storytelling is going
100%.
to change.
yeah,
So.
for sure. So yeah, thanks for the info. Jeremy says, this is also to Chevy as well. The second I will put my hand on a PS5, I'm gonna come play Final Fantasy 14 with you guys.
So you don't have to own it. I can just like let you touch the PS5.
Yeah, let's fly to Canada, put out the PS5, and he can. Even if he doesn't want to touch it, we gotta grab his hand and fucking go.
No, I'm just gonna say I'll believe it when I see it.
Ooh, fucking prove it, bro. All right, thank you everybody for your comments, and moving on to the next video, which was a short little clip of me and you kind of talking about Anthem and how essentially it got canceled. Make sure to go back and watch that. I kind of rant a bit there about how I feel, even as a person
What's new?
who's not a big Anthem or EA or BioWare guy. I was at one point. It still feels like secondhand insulted for people who were fans of Anthem with the way that EA has handled that. We got a couple comments. From Puppet Master, it says, I just hope Dragon Age 4 is good. It's been over 10 years since the last Dragon Age game. Pretty much just agree with you on that one. Yeah. It's been a while. I would love to see a return to form of the original Dragon Age. They're not going to do it. They don't got the balls to do that.
I put so many hours in Origins. So many.
Yeah. Yeah, Origins was fucking great. Then we got a comment from... oh, you've changed your name. Mark Dupree says, I never played Anthem and never had any intentions to, but I supported the hell out of it because Dragon Age is my favorite game series and wanted BioWare to do well. It absolutely sucks. But as long as no one lost jobs and the new focus on single player, I'll take that trade-off. I think that's a fair point of view. It is really interesting how I know a bunch of people who like didn't give a fuck about Anthem but are BioWare fans. So it really kind of shows, even if you are a fan or not a fan of Anthem, it didn't resonate with the track that BioWare has been kind of blazing, the trail that they've been doing. So
Yeah.
but you know, here's an example of really the kind of people we attract to this community is people who can kind of see in layers like that. Like, you know, BioWare's kind of doing some things I'm not really into. I hope for the best for them, but I'm still a fan of them. You know, that nuance. And I can really appreciate that because we talk nuance all the time here. So, very cool. And then, let's see. Simon Borderline Dumpster Fire Randall says, at 4:17 in the video, feel you on that. First Dragon Age came out. I was binging it. One of my all-time faves to this day.
It's so good.
See how many fucking people loved that game?
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. Watch my rant video. I'm not going to get back into it. Second one came out. I thought I was being trolled. Origins had unique characters, proper RPG dialogue, customization, tactical, semi-realistic real-time combat, letting players pause when they need to. The game just felt authentic. But BioWare's like, nah, fuck all this shit. Next time we're giving them some cookie-cutter characters, dumbed-down dialogue, flashy, over-the-top, brainless hack and slash for combat. I mean, you're responding to us bitching about that as well, so I just kind of wanted to read that to kind of show people, like, dude, people liked Dragon Age Origins. We liked it a lot. And then they kind of did, and what he's referring to as well was me saying that for some reason BioWare will release a game, people fucking love it, and then they go, let's not make it as good anymore.
Yeah,
They did it with Mass Effect. They did it with fucking Dragon Age.
Well, they didn't start that way with Mass Effect, right?
But they got there.
But then, yeah, it just instantly. And I keep saying, you know, EA, but there's definitely this huge philosophy on focusing on multiplayer, and it affected everything EA owned. So,
because they said single player games were dead,
which obviously an entire
that's been
console generation proved wrong.
Yeah. Sony single-handedly proved that wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So
Nintendo, like fucking, a bunch of these companies are like, no, but single-player games are fucking.
Yeah, how many people buy Mario?
I think he said that around the time like God of War came out.
Very shortly before, I think.
Yeah, and then God of War came out. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that
dude?
game's fucking amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, they got really into that multiplayer. They started kind of fucking muddying the waters of these single-player games.
Exactly.
To shoehorn in shitty multiplayer.
The same multiplayer, in fact.
Yeah, the same formula.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
stupid.
blatant and cheap and shitty and
It was
insulting.
garbage. I don't even like calling things garbage. It was garbage. So
I played it. It was fine. It was acceptable. But like compared to what they should have been making,
yeah, exactly.
it was fucking garbage.
I don't want a lesser experience of a sequel.
Yeah, go
Just
make
something I enjoy.
100%.
Yeah, make something new at that point.
Yeah.
Try a new IP, experiment there. If it fucks up, lesson learned. You know what I mean? But like now you're ruining the reputation of things that people love. So.
Agreed. So yeah, we pretty much agree with you on your comment, Simon, and thank you for reigniting that that annoyance for me because I'm like kind of amped up right now. So thank you for the comments, everybody, on that video. Moving over to the next video, we got our State of Play reaction where we reacted to State of Play. You forgot about that already?
I did.
And yeah, make sure to go back and watch that.
Weird. February was short. So.
February was very short. Fucking flew by. And yeah, we react to that. We watched the Final Fantasy VII new expansion episode thing that they're coming out
the
with.
0.5 version or whatever. Yeah.
And then the PS5 upgrade. So if you want to see what we said about that, check that out. We got a couple comments we're going to read here. Card Small says, I like a lot of the content that was shown, but ultimately walked away asking myself, that's it? I'd be interested in knowing if you enjoyed Nintendo Direct or Nintendo's Nintendo Direct, or this State of Play. For me, it was Nintendo hands down.
The one we had reacted to,
the Nintendo Direct that we watched like a couple days before this.
I mean, they're both all right. Yeah. It's weird for me because like I'm not necessarily like obviously if a game pops out that I'm interested in, I enjoy that moment. But when we sit down to watch these shows, it is kind of about the presentation less than the actual game announcements for me. So, because I can find the game announcements on YouTube singularly, right? It is nice seeing them this way, obviously, but I don't know. I think they both feel good. I think Nintendo's done it longer. They're just better at it right now. So,
yeah, I think they both have really good formats. I just think the content itself really is what spoke. I think Nintendo actually had some reveals, some bigger reveals.
They did,
and that's what made Nintendo Direct a little more interesting for me. But the reason that Nintendo Direct isn't better for me is because the big reveals were exciting for gaming, but not for me. And I'm able to separate myself and be excited for other people as well. I think it's something I think more people should maybe try and do.
Elden Ring. I'm not gonna.
Sure.
Like, yeah, that's awesome. It's coming out. I'm not buying it though. Like,
yeah. So the Nintendo Direct was exciting because there was like a lot of big things coming out for Nintendo, and I think that Pro is coming out soon because there was a leak recently saying specs on it and shit. But apparently it's gonna last longer, which is cool to hear. But the State of Play, I think, impacted me more because it changed my mind on a couple things, and that's huge for me.
Yeah.
There's a couple games where I was like, I wasn't interested in that, now I am. So for me personally, I think the State of Play, not for the games it revealed, but the trailers it showed, started shifting the way I was thinking about things. And so that impacted me more. So I have to go State of Play, but I do think Nintendo had the bigger bangers.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah. So for time's sake, we got to move on. So thank you, everybody who commented.
Thank you.
And moving on to the next video, which is our Game of the Month episode, where we reviewed Path of Exile. Again, the second time. We reviewed it back in, I think, 2018 as well, or 2019, I don't remember. So make sure to check that out.
We've played this game.
We have played it plenty of times. And is it still good in 2021? You're going to have to watch that video to find out. Otherwise, you'll never know if it's good or not. We got... Let's see. Where's the one I was going to read? Okay, so we got a comment from Simon Borderline Dumpster Fire Randall again saying, "Yo, Seth got his professional narrator tone out. That's what Keanu Reeves should have said in the trailer where they announced him for Cyberpunk. I only hear praise for Exile though. I should probably check it out. Should I check it out? Do I have a narrator voice?
I think you can, yeah.
I can have a narrator voice and he can check it out. Are you answering two questions with one answer?
Yes,
because that's fucking expert level. I think you can.
I think you both. Yeah, I think you both are very capable. Yeah, I mean, should you check it out? I think you should check out anything you're mildly interested in. How are you gonna know otherwise? So,
Chevy hitting you with fucking facts and logic. Yeah. Every once in a while, when I'm not doing what we do on the spot, where I'm just like, fuck, like I do. If I sit and stop and think about what I have to say, it's just like when I do my reviews and I actually write it down.
Yeah.
I can come out a little more professional sounding, I guess. But I also,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm such a rebel. I like to just reject fucking professionality.
I said this format's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely am the type of person I like to sit down and think about what I'm going to say, and so it makes it really hard for me to do like on the spot because then I'm like forgetting words and.
I think a lot of people do that. It's like
Yeah.
people use jump cuts a lot. I don't because I like the
I
authenticity.
don't mind that you guys see me.
Yeah.
This is me,
It's a
right?
well,
you
this
get
is
to,
podcast format anyway.
yeah, you get to see me, and that's fine. And I'm not like
You get to
worried
see
about-
me, and that's fine.
or
It's better
listen to
than
me
fine.
if
It's
you
amazing.
if you are listening to us on our podcast formats, link down below. Yeah, I don't know. I think both are fun. So
I actually really enjoy making more produced stuff a lot. It's because I love editing. I love the whole creative process of everything. But I like the conversations we have, obviously. But I do like writing stuff out. I like planning stuff or whatever. But I'm also not a huge fan of jump cuts, just because I think it can make someone, and it's good for them if they are. But sometimes people can kind of mask their ineloquence in the way that they speak through jump cuts, especially if they do them every like 2 words. That shit drives me nuts. Because I'm just watching, I'm like, that's so much editing.
just do another take.
Yeah. So anyway, but not everybody is capable of, carrying on a conversation for too long or getting their thoughts out and kind of rationalizing them in ways and communicating them. Anyway, this is way off topic. He's just saying I sounded like a professional narrator in the beginning, and thanks. I just went previously on TLG. So it worked out.
Yeah.
Play Path of Exile. It's free to play.
Yeah.
You have no excuse. Just go play it. You'll like it. If you like Diablo type games, it's great. Play it. Next comment we got is Mark Dupree again saying, "Same here. Any fantasy game I've played, I always run with the stealthy girl, usually girl, more aesthetically pleasing to look at. Holy shit, I spelled aesthetically correct. Congrats. It's a rough word. Get me a gold star. You got to clap. Sorry, spelling is my kryptonite. But anyway, yep, love my sly, stealthy, rogue boys and gals. Magic's for nerds. Kidding. Magic's pretty cool. Just not my bag. I'm going to tell you I agree because you're responding essentially what I said in that episode where I said I typically like playing stealth characters. So
Yeah.
we're on the same page. I typically play a dude in games, but I'm not opposed to playing girls. I play both. Not to get into that topic. And the world as a whole has gotten a lot better about it. But a lot of times I don't play females in games because specifically nowadays Asian games, they dress them in ways that I think isn't. I mean, I don't care about the appropriate aspect of it, but in a world where you're in combat a lot, if you're showing a lot of skin, everybody better be dressed like that,
100%.
or nobody, because like I don't want to go into battle and just have this illusion that like, yeah, if I could stab the stomach, it's fine because like, it's just a video game and my character's hot as hell.
Yeah, I get that.
If my dude's decked out in full plate armor, I want my girl to look like that as well. But if it's like Final Fantasy 14, where like my monk is in a belly shirt and looks like he's a bondage fucking leather daddy, and the girl looks like that, then I'm like, oh, this world monk's dressed like that.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, the girl's dressed like this, but the dude's dressed like this.
I think
They're
Soul
badass.
Calibur is a shining example of
100%.
that.
I've always brought that up. Pure, like, when GameSpot's like, girls get dressed weird and sexualized in games, I'm like, Valdo?
Yeah. Or alternate costume Astaroth.
Astroth?
Yeah.
Wearing a fucking thong, pretty much. And there used to be a bigger problem with it or whatever, and to each their own. If you like playing games where they look like that, it's fine. It just takes me out of the game. That's my whole point. I don't want to get on like a social discussion on that. It's just like if a dude was like running around a field in a thong, with a big sword, dress me up as a clown because that's what I'm looking at, and it's gonna take me out of the world. So I typically play dudes. It's just a habit I've gotten into because of the past and how they used to dress female characters versus male characters. Nowadays it's a lot fucking better.
I definitely bounce back and forth. I lean towards female characters.
I bounce back and forth as well, especially if I've already made a male character and I make a second character. I normally go female or vice versa because
I especially do that.
I'm a person who loves variety. I get bored really easy. Obviously, I hop games a lot, so I make characters who like are imperfect looking as well, because I like, everyone always makes a character that looks like very like
Model-esque.
Everybody looks
Yeah.
the same and shit, and I like make my dude have like kind of a crooked nose and shit. Maybe add a couple scars that look not as flattering. I don't do the eye one because it's so expected. Everyone does that. It's like the first one on scar
They
sliders.
put it
games.
in every game for a reason. Yeah.
Every game because people love it. It looks badass. But like I like to have like some weird scars and kind of think like, why would I have that scar? A lot of times you'll see like a scratch one. I'm like, hey, if you're in a world where you're fighting beasts a lot,
Yeah.
monsters and shit, makes
so,
sense.
So that's really funny because, in fact, when I make characters, depending on how like, model-esque they look, does depend on what job type they have.
For
So
sure.
If I have a caster, I usually keep
Yeah.
them pretty pristine looking.
Yeah,
Like,
if I have some scholarly type
Yeah,
character, they're gonna be
reading
reading
books all day,
They're
yeah.
fucking hanging out. They're probably just like in real life a little more fucking like
versus like if I make like a barbarian, I want them to look a little rough.
yeah.
I'll give them stubble.
If your
or, like,
life is
scratch on the
devoted to being a
cheek,
big brawling,
usually tan because I assume they're outside a lot. Like,
probably
yeah.
wearing less clothes because they're
Yeah.
barbarians and shit.
So yeah, that's how I make my characters too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that we have a similar take on that, but we've known each other for a long time. But yeah, kind of a little insight on where we come from. So I get where you're coming from with the aesthetically pleasing thing.
I don't
stealth.
do the stealth thing though.
I love the stealth thing.
I will like flirt
What do
with
you,
it, but
you always go towards range.
I usually do ranged. Yeah,
I was gonna say magic, but that's the
usually
inaccurate.
archery.
Yeah, archery first. You'll play ranger a lot, or archer type. characters.
Last few games where that's been a choice though, and I feel like it's just because like there's not a lot you could do with bow and arrow. I feel like when they do get too experimental with it, it just doesn't feel like an archer anymore, and then I'm not interested anymore for some reason. So I have been playing a lot more melee or caster roles in games at this point.
Yeah, I typically, in the confines of what we were talking about, stealth for sure, but in games in general where you make a character in, say, fantasy settings, but even sci-fi maybe if the game allows you to do it, I do typically do agility, finesse-based characters. So stealth is absolutely one of my first go-tos. Unless the stealth sucks, then I don't want anything to do with it. I do also have a big leaning towards dual wielding. I like, especially if I can dual wield two different types of weapons. I love that shit. In games where you can have a gun and a sword, I fucking love that for some reason. Or if like, I think when we played D&D, I had like a character with like a whip and a fucking rapier or something like that. Yeah. So I again, variety. I like kind of having tools. I mean, I own a bunch of fucking cameras because I like having tools. So that kind of goes into my philosophy for my characters as well. And then if I can't do that, dual wielding is always cool. And then if I'm going to have like a more of a warrior type build, I'm not really a barbarian type guy. I'll play a barbarian because I think it's kind of fun every once in a while, just smash shit. But I do like just a sword wielding, finesse styled character that's kind of well rounded. So, your basic warrior human type character.
I think the only time I've enjoyed like a barbarian style character was Torchlight 2, the engineer with a two-handed hammer. I loved that.
Yeah.
So, but that game's wonky.
There's been a couple games, but yeah, typically it's not my thing. Yeah. And then if Josh is here, that is his thing for sure. So
or weaponless. He's totally into the weaponless thing.
He just wants to be a big dude who's gonna fucking smash and break shit and pound fucking
Hulk smash.
Pound Hulk smash. And then he says something else about and the magic thing. I will challenge myself to do magic. Again, when I do dual wielding stuff, sometimes I like to be like a mix of caster and fighter. I just like mixes. That's one reason why I loved Phantasy Star, is you could kind of start having these like merged classes and kind of do a little bit of both. And I always fucking loved that shit. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, stealth is typically one of my first go-tos for sure. Anything else? All right, moving on to the last video. Thank you for the comments.
Yeah, thank you.
This was Plus Club, where we talked about Control, Destruction All-Stars, and Concrete Genie. Make sure to go back and watch that for our reviews of those games. And we got some comments. So we got a correction from Jonathan Bourbonnais that says there was an option in the menu to use the joystick in Concrete Genie.
Of course there was.
It was the first thing I did. I literally said that in the video.
Yeah.
I'm like, somebody's gonna say, "Hey, there's a thing," and then
Yeah.
if there is, let us know. He did let us know. He didn't say it
Yeah,
in a mean
and
way,
thank
which
you.
is great.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we just know now. So, and that alone kind of makes me want to go back. I guess also the third act of the game, spoiler alert, changes the way the game plays. I guess it just turns into a third-person like action game or something.
Oh,
like
weird.
that. Yeah. So I kind of want to go back and play Concrete Genie a bit more. People say you can beat it in like 8 hours, 6 or 8 hours.
I don't
But
know if I have 8 hours anymore, man.
true. But I've also put like 70 hours in Valheim. I don't need to.
I
so.
haven't.
But thank you for letting us know. That was like when we played Sims and we're like, man, if PC or if it had mouse and keyboard support, that'd be great. And everybody's like, it does. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And nobody was an asshole about it. It's fucking amazing. Not on Twitter, so people are like reasonable.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then the last comment we are going to read is the Josh saying the mention of lag switching,
Yep.
which is something I talked about, I forgot what it was called, gave me Modern Warfare 2 PTSD. I mentioned in that video, make sure to go back and watch it, but I was talking
Combat arms
about
for me, baby.
that in Destruction All-Stars, there felt like there was this latency to the game that seemed like some people were operating in ways that other people weren't, and it kind of reminded me of back in the day. I swear people called it tapping or something like that. There was this thing. He's talking about the actual peripheral. There's this thing that you could do with your fucking internet where you unplug and replug it, and because you're still maintaining a signal to the server but interrupting it, it would make everybody else see you the way you're not actually seeing them in the game, and to give you the advantage. And then people made these things called lag switches where you'd plug it into that, and it would just do that for you. And so you could lag around and kill people, and they couldn't really, where they see you, you're not actually there. And so you're killing them before they
you're
can kill you.
teleporting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Destruction All-Stars kind of gave me that vibe when I played it. I don't think everybody was lag switching. So I'm glad Josh, of course, remembered those good old days in Modern Warfare 2. Because that was probably the height of the 360 was the height of fucking lag switches.
Yeah, I didn't play a lot of Call of Duty, but like I remember seeing that in like Combat Arms, which was really frustrating.
That's an old school one.
Yeah, games used to be way more forgiving about how much like your internet could drop though, because now if your internet drops, they're just like you're disconnected.
Yeah, no, a game was just like, get out of here. Yeah. You're doing weird shit. You're not fit for this. So, yeah, in a way, I appreciate that. But I've also played games that's just like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I forgot. I played a game recently where I was like gone for like 2 seconds. I came back. It's like, you were inactive for too long. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are pretty sensitive.
Yeah.
But even like if your internet like dips for a second, sometimes it'll be like, well, no connection, bye.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to try to reconnect me? Like, come on.
Nope. Thinks you're up to some bullshit.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
Thanks for all the comments.
Thank you for all the comments. Remember, type in hashtag STLG on your comment if you'd like me to choose it. Otherwise, I pick at random. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 136, I think I said. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our social media links and our streaming links all down below. Check out our Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further than liking this video. It really helps. Commenting, we'd love to hear from you guys. Sharing the video with your friends is the best way to get it around and let people know that we exist, because the algorithm sucks. And then, of course, subscribing if you're brand new. You are absolutely welcome to this community. And yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
Until the next episode, we're going to try and catch up with Chris soon. So stay tuned for that. We got a lot to talk about with him and other things coming up we'll be talking about soon. So until then, have a good weekend, guys, and take it easy.